by the most in 2 years. The measure of employee output per hour increased at a 3.1% annualized rate. The productivity data represents a break from the longest consecutive string of declines since 1979 as employers squeezed more output from existing workers. Charter Communications posts third quarter sales that met analyst estimates on the strength of selling internet services to businesses. The cable provider acquired Time Warner Cable and Bright House Networks earlier this year. And the Bank of England says it's no longer expecting to cut interest rates again this year and indicates that concern about accelerating inflation may even warrant tightening at some point. S&P futures up 4 points, NASDAQ futures down less than a point. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, boys. A 1, a 2.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
629 News Radio 1120 KPNW. Dennis Richardson on the show coming up bright and early. Of course, hopefully you know who Dennis Richardson is, and
if you don't, you'll learn.
Might have even voted for him already.
A couple of times.
Yeah, right. A bit of cloud cover and pretty day today, even a prettier day tomorrow. Sunny and 68. Rain, and I'll say rain is pretty as well. Rain, you get a little bit of everything this weekend. Rain on Saturday.
Thanks for not discriminating against the rain.
Absolutely.
It's very inclusive of you.
The Stop the Bus campaign, I'll just put a plug in very quick. We on KDUC have a 3-day now affair. Used to be 2 days. We've added a third day with the help of Chi Psi, which is a fraternity over there at the U of O. They kind of threw out the proposal, and we said, yeah, we'll come out to the campus and see what you got. So you don't have to be, say, on the U of O campus or be anywhere around there. You could be in somewhere of Southeast Eugene, if that's more convenient than any of the Walmarts that we're going to be at. We have a huge LTD bus that we're looking for non-perishable food items for Food for Lane County, or donations, or I'll say, because some people bring toys and food, new unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots. It's kind of a blanket campaign where we're looking for food and toys, or even monetary donations.
And just to clarify, the Marines are the ones that are helping out with the Toys for Tots, right?
Yeah.
That's their big toy thing, their big thing that they do for the holidays.
And they are out for sure Friday and Saturday. I would assume that they would be out there today, since it is still Stop the Bus. But it's
Go Marines.
One of the great things of the Stop the Bus campaigns of past is watching older Marines come up and kind of communicate in its different ways, but that there's definite respect, and just to kind of see that, former, but once a Marine, always a Marine. Just see Marines of all ages cavort and communicate. That is going to be part of the party. We'll have kids out there. There's going to be a band, an actual artist that we haven't even gone on KDUC and talked about, but they'll be out there at the camp. It's going to be kind of like almost a circus, a 3-ring circus.
With scary clowns? Are we going to have clowns?
Minus the clowns.
Oh.
Well, Chino's going to be out there in the morning house party. Val will be out there.
Maybe you could get a University of Oregon law prof to come out too. It's, you're going to get clowns. When did you get that one?
Work on it. Anyway, if you can make it by today, I'm going to be on the East Campus of the EMU. And I guess apparently the EMU has gone through a transformation that I have not seen. They got a new ballroom. It's all new and improved. If you want to come out and look at it and bring some food, we'd love to hang out. And
more room for flag burnings.
Of course, tomorrow we'll hit at Walmart. We're going to be in the afternoon. Val and I will be at the Delta Oaks location.
You can get to tell this is going to be one of those days where Rob's just going to have to ignore everything that I say.
You say something?
No, nothing at all.
So anyway, we got that going on. What else is going on that people need to maybe know about in case they don't know about?
Well, here's the big thing. All right, if you're going to vote, actually, take the time to look at a ballot and take your pen and mark the little ovals. Just a reminder, don't mail it in. You're now going to have to deliver it. We're past the window of making sure that your ballot is actually going to get there if you mail it. It's not like taxes where they go by the postmark. It has to be received by 8 p.m. Monday regardless. So make sure that you get down to a local area ballot box, whether it be, the local library or wherever ballot boxes can be found near you, and you can go on Lane County's website to find out where those drop boxes are at and pop it in. And the same thing would be, it doesn't make any difference what county you're in. Go to your county website, you'll be able to find where the drop boxes are. It's all a part of the deal. And then, if you want to, you can go to the Secretary of State's office generally about a day later or so, and you can actually check to see if your ballot has been denoted as turned in. So, a couple of things you can do there.
How many people do you think will do that?
Do what? Check to see if they actually... Who knows? I don't know.
I mean, would you speculate a bunch?
No. And the reason I don't speculate that what's a bunch? I mean, are we talking about 50% of the electorate or 20%? I don't know, maybe 10%? Who knows? I don't think that a lot of people will, because I think a lot of people are ignorant in the way that they vote anyways, and it's like, oh, well, okay, I do. All right, well, whatever. And they go about their daily lives.
They probably don't even know that you can do that, though.
That's correct.
So I don't know if I would necessarily say that.
Are you going to do
ignorance.
It? Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Feeling a little paranoid, are you?
I just want to confirm and yeah. I mean,
okay, and that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fair.
I wouldn't say paranoid. I just I think
lacking in trust.
If it's there to double check and make sure that you can confirm, why not?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Election day, by the way,
coming up next Tuesday.
The madness,
right?
Well, we'll see a different form Wednesday, but a certain round one will come to a completion.
Our long national nightmare is coming to an end.
Well, I wouldn't put in those words. I would just say round one
of our long national nightmare is coming to an end.
Yep.
Yeah. The next nightmare to start.
Dennis Richardson to join us next on the Wake Up Call, 1120 KPNW, live and local.
Oregon's Game Megabucks jackpot is over $6 million. Buy yours today.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Friendly people who treat you right.
The Veterinary Hospital is Eugene, Oregon's premier pet hospital. Open 7 days a week, our fully licensed and AHA accredited team offer the latest in therapeutic laser technology to promote healing and pain management for your pet. The Veterinary Hospital. We care about pets and their people too.
My dad was my high school wrestling coach, and he told me you never give up, no matter what the score. That's how I approach the tough fights in Congress.
Most people in Congress talk a good game, but don't get things done. Not Peter DeFazio. He delivers. Every day he gets up and fights for Oregon workers and their families.
I'm fighting big corporations who want tax breaks while they ship jobs overseas. I voted against NAFTA and every unfair trade agreement under Clinton, Bush, and Obama. And I've pushed for Buy American legislation to require the federal government to purchase products made in the U.S.
Peter DeFazio, a top wrestler in high school. He's a fighter, taking on big corporations that care more about profits than people, and Wall Street bankers who crashed our economy. Peter DeFazio is in our corner, fighting to hold them all accountable.
I'm Peter DeFazio, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message because if my wrestling opponents couldn't pin me, corporate America's not going to have any better luck.
Paid for by DeFazio for Congress.
This season, your high school team's best defense isn't on the field, it's on the sideline. As medical professionals, athletic trainers can make a critical difference at the moment an injury happens. They're also essential during treatment and recovery. But maybe most importantly, research shows athletic trainers may help athletes avoid injuries in the first place. Learn how the NFL can help get an athletic trainer on your team at athletictrainergrant.com. That's athletictrainergrant.com.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org. An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, I wouldn't bother grabbing the umbrella. You won't need it today as high pressure's moving in. Now, we had some light rain overnight, but no real accumulation as a weak cold front moved in. Now, once that little light rain evaporated, it has led to patchy dense fog off and on this morning. I expect that to burn off by about 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies as high pressure moves into the region, deflecting most of the incoming storm energy up towards the western side of Washington, stretching into Canada. That means for us, we'll see highs back in the mid to low 60s. Winds will shift north at 5 to 10. And the next couple of days actually look pretty good as high pressure will dominate over the Pacific Northwest. That means no chance at rain until Saturday when the next storm system starts to rush its way in. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you enjoy this dry weather and get ready for a wet weekend.
Mornings are a little different with the Wake Up Call.
You know, it's a very odd show.
Holloway in London on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Joining us once again on the Wake Up Call. It's been a while, but Dennis Richardson. He's now running for Secretary of State. Last time we talked to him, he was in the running for the governor's chair. And he joins us now on the Wake Up Call. Dennis, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, it's good to be with you.
All right, so where are you this morning? I know that you've been canvassing the state. Where are you today?
I'm in Portland. Been in Portland since Tuesday, and we'll be here all the way through Election Day.
Okay, before we get into this particular election cycle and you running for Secretary of State, I'm just kind of curious because you have done, at least judging by the polls so far, better than any other Republican has done in a statewide race in a long time. What did you learn from the gubernatorial race against Kitzhaber? What did you learn during that race that you've been able to apply to this race that has led to, what is, at least so far, a pretty darn solid run?
I learned that the focus really has to be on solutions and not on just, typical politics as usual, that people are tired in Oregon of mediocrity. It's become kind of the new normal. They're tired of having one group of people protecting each other at the expense of the people. And so throughout this campaign, if you go to my website at DennisRichardson.com, you'll see short videos that we've had on television and on social media that explain what some of the problems are and what I can do as Secretary of State to fix them. And I believe that's had a real positive impact across the state.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of those things in particular that you feel strongly about as far as the Secretary of State goes. I have said for a long time that the Secretary of State's office in many ways is a more powerful office than that of the governor because you oversee elections, you oversee initiative petitions, you are literally the chief auditor for the state of Oregon. What are some things that, if you are elected, that you plan on addressing as Secretary of State? What are the problems that you want to address?
Okay, well, first of all, you're absolutely right. The Secretary of State has really independent power because it's a constitutionally based office. And one of the most crucial things that it does is it has the audit capacity. There's 72 auditors, and it's supposed to be functioning like a government accountability office, a GAO, a nonpartisan office of professionals that will be watching out for the people's money. And that hasn't been happening to the extent that it should be. We should be auditing the programs and the departments. We should be ensuring that not only is the money well spent, but also do performance audits to find out how come our education system is racing to the very bottom of the country. I mean, we're like 48th in the nation in graduation rates. And why is it that our children in foster care are continually being abused, physically and sexually abused, and even having starvation by those that are responsible for their care? I mean, we have such problems, and they're not being addressed, that we have very dedicated foster care social workers with the Department of Human Services that are spending the nights in either DHS offices or motels with children because they have no place to take those kids. I mean, there needs to be audits of these programs. Let's quit having these weak excuses that it's just the way things are and that we're going to get better in the future, and actually find ways where we can compare what's being done here with what's being done that's working in other states, and then use best practices to help change the way things are going. And the Secretary of State can provide that information to the governor's office and the leaders of the legislature and help bring about policy changes that will help our children get better educations and be cared for.
Do you believe, though, that, you know, by performing these audits, and you go in front of the legislature or present this to the governor, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going to do anything about it, though, does it?
No, in the past, quite often these audits just get put on a shelf because it's business as usual. It's about maintaining power, not representing the best interests of the people, and that's what has to stop. Now, one thing that I will do is I will renew my newsletter, which I used when I was in my legislative capacity, and at one point I had 500,000 email addresses of Oregonians that we kept informed as to what's happening in the state. Well, when we do our audits, we will inform the people as to what we're finding and what the recommendations are, and then we'll follow up 90 days later to see what changes are being made to implement recommendations or to fix the problems that exist. And if those changes are not taking place, the people will be aware of it and they can get involved, because that's really the last bastion of power that we have that can counteract the bureaucracy that has the capital by such a clutch hold.
One of the things that you have mentioned on your website, I was looking at it a couple of weeks ago, has to do with the initiative petition process. What what are your feelings about the process here in Oregon of initiative petitions, which is the average citizen's way of enacting laws, constitutional amendments, so on and so forth, to better their lives, things that they don't think that the legislature are actually doing. What can you do to improve that process?
Well, the initiative and referendum and referral, these provisions were kind of originated in Oregon more than a century ago, and they've been followed up and utilized by other states as well. They need to be done in a fair and equitable manner. And too many times in the past, when you read what the petitions titles are, you can hardly understand what they're all about. And it shouldn't matter, as far as the Secretary of State's office is concerned, what the principle is, whether the Secretary of State agrees with it or not. The people have a right to have a clear opportunity to utilize the initiative and referendum capacities and provisions in a fair and equitable manner. And the Secretary of State should do that and not be partisan.
Okay, but aren't some of those ballot titles, aren't they decided on by actually the Attorney General or the Attorney General's office?
Yes, many times that's the case. But the petitions early on, to gather the signatures, that's done with the Secretary of State's office. There's a lot of coordination between the Secretary of State's office and the Attorney General, but the Secretary of State's office can be involved in helping to ensure that things are done in an open and transparent, nonpartisan way, and that hasn't been happening.
Okay, so let's just hypothetically say that this initiative petition has garnered enough signatures to make it onto the ballot, goes to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office comes up with some sort of convoluted obfuscation of a ballot title that can't be understood. As Secretary of State, is there anything you can do to reverse that or clarify the ballot title other than just, nasty memos back and forth?
Yeah. I wish I could answer that. I don't know the ins and outs of how that it operates because I haven't been the Secretary of State before.
Right.
All I can do is promise that under my watch, everything will be done that I have the power to do to ensure that things are done in a fair and nonpartisan way. And I don't yet understand all the intricacies of how that functions.
One of the things that I have never gotten a clear answer on has to do with the way that they sample count the actual signatures. Do you think that the way that they do it now, they just pull random signature sheets and they check them, do you think that's the way that they should be doing it, or should we go back to the old way of actually counting and checking actual signatures?
I think that the way it's being done now is okay when there's no controversy. I mean, if it's clear that there's enough, or it's clear that there is an inadequate number of signatures, then it's okay. But if it's close at all, then we should not just say, sorry, you lose, because that undermines trust of those that have put in hundreds or thousands of hours gathering those signatures, because they think that it's a manipulation of the system. And so in any close cases, I think that you should go back and do it in a way that will ensure that there is that the system has integrity, and that there's not a manipulation for partisan reasons of the system.
Is that something, the way that they are counted now, is that something, if you were to implement that kind of change, is there a way that you could do that so that it would be in place for and would remain in place for other secretaries of state that would follow, be they Democrat or be they Republican?
Only by coming up with a system that works and that makes sense, and then making recommendations to the legislature. The only way that it will be binding on future Secretary of States or the system is if it becomes law. And of course, that can be changed in the future with the vote of the House and the Senate and the signature from a governor. But really, there needs to be a statutory provision that will protect the citizens who've gone to the effort to collect these petitions, and there's a controversy over whether or not they're valid or there's sufficient numbers.
Dennis Richardson joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. As you probably have gathered by now, he is running for Secretary of State. He's taking on Brad Avakian, the current Bureau of Labor and Industries administrator there. Been kind of a cantankerous, if you will, campaign between the two of you. One of the things that was surprising to me as part of Avakian's campaign is he was suggesting doing things with the Secretary of State's office that are not enumerated in Oregon's Constitution in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, well, if you look at what he's done as Commissioner of BOLI, you'll see that he's become the judge, jury, and executioner of businesses who violated public accommodations laws, first-time offenses, and he shuts them down with huge fines rather than working with them and educating them and helping them to comply with the law. He puts them out of business. Now he wants to be Secretary of State and use the auditors and audit private businesses instead of what the job requires, which is that you be auditing public entities. The goal of the Audit Commission and that division is to ensure the people's money is well spent, not to go after businesses and make businesses afraid to come to the Secretary of State's office because they might be retaliated against by a power-hungry bureaucrat who is a a career politician that's protecting the bureaucracy instead of protecting the people. I'm just different in my approach to that.
Are there other ways that you set yourself off or set yourself apart from Commissioner Avakian?
Well, yes, I think that the reason that all 11 newspapers across the state that have issued endorsements for this office, they've all endorsed me, and he's not received a single endorsement from a major newspaper in the state, either in the general election or in the primary election when he was running against two other Democrats. And the reason is that if you look back in his past, he's a climber. I mean, I have nothing personal against Brad, except that this is another line in a political resume as he works to become governor. And we need a public servant, not a politician, in the position of Secretary of State. It should be run in a way where you can't tell if they're a Democrat or a Republican. The business is not policy. The business is an administration for fair elections, for a corporations division that welcomes businesses to Oregon and helps businesses that are here to work through the maze of the bureaucracy, and using the audit capacity in a way to ensure that we stop the waste, the fraud, and the abuse of power that has been so prevalent for decades in our state and has given us such a bad reputation nationally.
Well, I'm going to let you just kind of respond to one of the attacks that he has made on you, and that is he just refers to you as essentially just another Trump surrogate. Go ahead and have at.
Well, if you look at both of us, the thing between the two of us, he represents a very close alignment with Trump in one area, and that is neither of them have had any of the newspaper endorsements. But that is merely trying to assassinate my character with some voters by saying that I'm like someone when there's no basis for it at all. I was in the legislature for 12 years. I am experienced. I was elected unanimously by the Democrats and the Republicans in the House as Speaker pro tem in my second term. I mean, they wanted to argue over who the speaker was going to be, but they wanted someone at the gavel who was fair, who would make sure that the business of the House got moved forward, and they unanimously elected me. I was co-chair of Ways and Means, working with two Democrats, and the three of us were responsible for the $50 billion state budget after we had the Great Recession. I mean, my experience is so different and prepares me to be the person that should be a Secretary of State who will act in a nonpartisan way. And so for him to try and do that, it's merely trying to assassinate my character and avoid having to take responsibility for his own unethical past.
Okay, so for folks who want to learn more about you, in case they haven't voted yet and they haven't really taken a look at the Secretary of State's race, why don't you go ahead and give your website and all the pertinent details there.
Yes, if you just go to DennisRichardson.com, you'll see the solutions to Oregon's real problems, how we deal with toxic lead in our water in our schools, how we deal with the failure in our foster care system and our education system. There are things that I can do as Secretary of State that will help Oregon families, and at DennisRichardson.com it will explain why.
All right. Dennis, good luck to you in the election. Thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call, and have fun in Portland.
It's a great time. I hope everybody gets out and votes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dennis Richardson on the Wake Up Call this morning. It is 6:56. Probably after a long election. I imagine he, along with a lot of other candidates, are just looking forward to getting about a week's worth of sleep. How's that for a transition, huh? Nice, Bill. Very clever. Head into Sleep Train, where they've got mattress price wars going on right now. That's right, you can see Tempur-Pedics actually body slamming Posturepedics. The Tempur-Pedics, they get like a running start. They just run across the store and slam into them. And then they taunt them by saying, I have lower prices than you do. My prices are lower. It's the way that it works. It's sort of like MMA with mattresses, if you can imagine that. Kind of like a cage fight. And then, of course, you throw in the adjustable bases, and then it's out of control. Head on in for Mattress Price Wars, where you can save all sorts of money at a Sleep Train near you. Whether it's Serta, whether it's Simmons, whether it's Tempur-Pedic, you name it, you're going to find it. And the cool part of it is you're going to get unbeatable service from Sleep Train. The folks there are trained. Go to Sleep Train, Corvallis, Albany, Eugene, and Springfield, and tell them that Bill and Rob from the Wake Up Call officially sent you. If you would please do that, we would appreciate it.
Would you let other people order for you?
He'll have some Bolognese.
No, I won't. So why let others make decisions about your older years? Do you want your kids or perfect strangers choosing where you'll live or how your money gets spent?
No.
Go to longtermcare.gov and find your own path forward. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Plan now to stay in charge or pay later.
How about a mohawk?
Very funny.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office. At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. They need more coffee in Chicago. Cubs fans finally celebrating a championship into the wee hours of the morning, then cheering the team as they returned from Cleveland, holding the World Series trophy high after beating the Indians last night. Fox's Jeff Manasso live in Chicago.
Very high, Dave, as it's been almost 40,000 days since Cubs fans called themselves champs after winning last night's Game 7 in Cleveland.
I wanted them to win for my dad, and they did, and that's enough for me.
It was an amazing night. It was an emotional night. Die in the river, Cubby Blue, I think, yeah.
This reaction outside Wrigley Field, where streets have since reopened, though where many Cubs fans remain just to soak it all in, and as details of an official championship celebration get worked out, and we're told other than a few street pole climbers and rabble-rousers that most fans behaved themselves during the celebration here last night. Dave.
Jeff, 5 days before the election, Donald Trump's wife Melania will campaign for him in Pennsylvania. He tweets he'll be watching from North Carolina after a rally in Florida. He jokes his staff is telling him,
"We've got to be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right, stay on point, Donald, stay on point."
Hillary Clinton will also rally in North Carolina today as the FBI keeps investigating her private email server and foundation. President Obama will campaign for her in Florida, and he tells Now This News.
When she makes a mistake, an honest mistake, it ends up being blown up as if it's just some crazy thing.
U.S. and Afghan forces conducted a raid today, killing Taliban fighters the day after 2 Americans were killed in battle and 2 wounded.
The American Special Operations Forces came under fire alongside Afghan troops while fighting the Taliban. The incident took place in Kunduz province, a volatile region in northern Afghanistan. At least 5 Americans have been killed in combat in Afghanistan since early October.
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Sitting down, reaching out, listening. There's not much of that in politics anymore. But that's what Arnie Roblin's always done. As co-speaker of the Oregon House, Arnie led a bipartisan coalition to close a $3.5 billion budget shortfall. In the state Senate, Arnie Roblin keeps bringing people together to increase education funding to $7.4 billion and support Project Independence so more seniors can get the home care they need. The Register Guard endorsed Arnie Roblin, saying he has an unmatched record of working with a broad range of people to better the lives of coastal residents. But what about Republican Dick Anderson? As Lincoln City Mayor, Anderson bullied his neighbors by trying to forcibly annex their houses. Dick Anderson opposed increasing the minimum wage. And Dick Anderson was against paid sick days for Oregon workers. The difference is clear. A bridge builder or a bully. Who do we want in Salem?
Paid for by friends of Arnie Roblin.
The The day before the big report on October employment, we learned first-time jobless claims rose slightly last week, up to 265,000. Another government report shows worker productivity increased last quarter to the fastest pace in 2 years. Stocks have been up so far this morning. Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalides live on Wall Street.
And as you look, you said up and you hesitate, and that is so true because we are hovering around that unchanged line. And to your point, Dave, we have the Dow and the S&P just fractionally higher. And just moments ago, the S&P was down. If the S&P drops again today, it would be the 8th day in a row. We haven't seen that in 8 years to have that kind of strength since the financial crisis. That being said, the Dow up 9 points, NASDAQ down 8, S&P up just fractionally. Boeing, Intel under pressure. We're seeing Fitbit down 30% after its report. Whole Foods markets gaining 4%. Energy and healthcare to the upside as technology pulls back. Waiting on that jobs report tomorrow and the elections on Tuesday. Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. The price of oil hasn't moved much. It's still around $45 a barrel, while gas has risen a second straight day. AAA's national average for regulars almost $2.22 a gallon. President Obama wants more cars to not need gas.
The White House said it will establish 48 national electric vehicle charging corridors on nearly 25,000 miles of highways. In addition, 28 states, utilities, and vehicle manufacturers, including GM, BMW, and Nissan, have agreed to work together to jumpstart the additional electric vehicle charging stations. In the past 8 years, the number of plug-in electric vehicle models has increased from 1 to more than 20, and the number of electric vehicle charging stations has increased from less than 500 in 2008 to more than 16,000 today. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
Garth Brooks is the king of country music again, winning the CMA Entertainer of the Year award last night. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
(11:20) KPNW. Welcome in. Wake Up Call, hour number 2 of a Thursday, already third day of November. Partly cloudy and 65 for the high. A little bit of cloud cover overnight and 46 for the dip. Sunny and almost 70 degrees tomorrow. Rain, pretty much a rain out on Saturday. Currently 51 degrees at 11:20 KPNW. Might be a good weekend to find yourself. Radio Redux. We got tickets for Alice between now and say Friday at 9. Also got tickets for some brews.
Yeah, Mackenzie Cider and Craft Festival, which is a big deal.
What is it, 75?
Yeah.
75 breweries?
75, yeah, breweries and cideries.
Yeah.
And do you call them cideries? What do you call them? What are cider factories?
That's what I call them.
You know, cider things. Oh, Cider Man. What do you
Cider things.
Cider things.
Yeah.
Cider things. Anyway, we have tickets for that. And it's a big, this is an awesome event. And it comes up on the 4th and 5th. That's this Friday and Saturday for those of you that are calendar challenged, like some of our sales staff. And the tickets are $15 each. If you don't win them, at least you can purchase the things, and you can find out more by going to MCCBF, Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival.
I should have confirmed this before going on the air, but somebody was telling me that if you have the tickets, isn't LTD travel as well comped? We don't know. Okay, I thought maybe you
actually, it does say on the ticket, free LTD bus rides.
Okay,
so there you go.
So you don't have to drive. It's like a win-win situation.
And by the way, these get you in both days.
Shut up.
Yeah, so you can go out on Friday and try the cider, and then go out on Saturday and do the beer.
Okay, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you get a crafty little glass too?
Yeah, you get a mug and all that good stuff.
A mug, even.
Well, beer glass. Anyway, it's at Willamette Lanes out there at 250 South 32nd in Springfield, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So it's fun. It's grown every year. This thing, it's amazing.
And it's a family event, too, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a family, like where you can put the kids.
Right.
Like, wow, only in Eugene.
Yeah, well, and only in Springfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a
Eugene
thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thanks
the folks in Springfield also are like, yeah, Hello.
SPR representing. All right. We'll talk with Val from KDOC about Stuff the Bus, and if you can help out, that would be awesome. And get you a couple of news tidbits of the day.
Yeah, we'll have these stories coming up in just a matter of moments. We'll be talking about how Lane County Elections is also feeling a little bit of the heat of this particular election season and what they're doing to try and ensure the sanctity of your ballots. We'll tell you about the arrest of a man who was allegedly involved in, yes, the whole park block fiasco. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at the Democrats in the House and the Senate here in Oregon, and are they going to retain their clout? Those stories and more coming up. Brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, here on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
News time 7:09.
We know Kathy Lamberg. She's been part of our community for over 50 years. The mother of 2 Iraq War veterans, Kathy Lamberg wants to improve services for veterans, including access to health care. A local educator, Kathy Lamberg, will work to ensure that every child receives the education they deserve, regardless of where they live. Vote for the leader we know and trust to represent us. Vote Kathy Lamberg for state representative.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lambert. I'd be honored to represent you in Salem. Together we can improve Oregon's schools and grow our economy.
Stuffing means different things to different people. A lot of people see stuffing as something that's crammed in a turkey, usually containing cornbread, a combination of spices, and in some cases, free agents like mushrooms and oysters. At Burrito Amigos, you won't find turkeys, but you will find tortillas stuffed with the freshest ingredients like daily made beans, fresh guacamole, and a variety of select meats. The R&D department at Burrito Amigos discovered a long time ago that real black Angus beef is better than cheap scrap cuts like most places use. That's why the carne asada and machaca burritos are just so darn good. And for the bacon burritos, our burrito friends use not one but 2 types of bacon. Let's pause on that. Breakfast burritos stuffed with 2 types of bacon. I know. You kind of want to bow in front of the Burrito Amigos bacon burrito and maybe peel it some grapes. Burrito Amigos doesn't skimp either. They really do stuff those burritos to their structural limit. It's why Burrito Amigos created the junior burrito. The regular size was just too massive for a lot of folks. Burrito Amigos with a whole different view of stuffing. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield with kiosks at your local Jerry's. Warm, tasty, and stuffed. Burrito Amigos.
Brad's Cottage Grove Chevy GMC. Terrific inventory, great prices.
Celebrate National Sandwich Day at your local Subway with the Good Deed Feed. On November 3rd, buy any Subway sandwich and drink and get another sub free. Plus, Subway will donate another meal to Feeding America. November 3rd is National Sandwich Day, and you can help feed America by eating at Subway.
This is News Radio 1120 KPNW. And we've got the local story in the morning wake-up call.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the ongoing rancor of this year's election is spilling over locally to an extent, with ballot security being a huge issue faced by Lane County elections. As a result, Lane County election teams are emptying out ballot boxes while being accompanied by members of the Democratic and Republican parties, and they're doing that several times a day, according to Lane County Clerk Cheryl Betchart. At this point, even the teams are being screened. Elections has even gone so far as to put some of the ballot boxes under security camera surveillance. To go even further with this, believe it or not, they set up a 24-hour emergency phone number available on official ballot boxes to report suspicious activity. Volunteers from the Republican Party say they're going to be spot-checking ballot boxes to ensure they're secure. And both the Democrats and the Republicans plan to have volunteers overseeing the ballot counts and reporting any issues that they believe arise. A man was cited in connection to a situation in downtown Eugene, and it apparently is the same guy that nearly caused a riot a couple of weeks ago. Jeremy Edward Lowry was cited in connection with an incident at the park blocks on October 21st in downtown Eugene. Police said an officer was patrolling the area Tuesday afternoon as part of the department's new park block safety initiative, and who did they spot? Lowry, apparently wearing the same clothing he was wearing during the incident. The officer cited Lowry for interfering with police. they said there was probable cause to do that. Should a University of Oregon senior law professor be fired after dressing up in blackface for Halloween? That is a question that's being argued at the university. An online petition is demanding the yet unnamed professor resign, and the university's president is condemning her actions. In an email to students, U of O President Michael Schill said the use of blackface, even in jest at a Halloween party, is patently offensive and reinforces historically racist stereotypes. It was a stupid act and is no way defensible. The professor has been placed on administrative leave pending completion of a civil rights investigation. Now, it's being reported that the professor meant her costume to depict black man in a white coat, a doctor's reflections on race and medicine. That's a book that was written by Dr. Damon Tweedy that supposedly recounts his racism that he encountered while in medical school. At least that's the theory. However, the professor in question is yet to publicly state the meaning behind the blackface costume. Well, Broadcom is now reportedly buying Brocade Communication Systems, Inc. If you roll back the Wayback Machine to Tuesday, you'll recall that Broadcom announced it was pulling the plug on plans to open up shop in West Eugene at the old Hynix plant. Well, the Wall Street Journal and also Bloomberg have reported that the company is buying Brocade for $5.9 billion. And they're making the acquisition so they can capitalize on the demand for cloud computing. Broadcom planned to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the West Eugene location, and they never really said why they were pulling out of Eugene. However, the $5.9 billion that they invested in Brocade might be a good indication of why they decided to pull the plug. Also, the Wall Street Journal notes that Broadcom is moving away from making chips from the softening smartphone market and moving towards focusing on connectivity between different digital technologies and the cloud. Saturday night, before you go to bed, you need to turn your clock back by 1 hour. Brad Ford says that will affect your sleep pattern, and that could make you, well, drowsy next week.
The clock rolls back. That means you get an extra hour of sleep, and you'd think you'd be more rested. But sleep experts say that won't be the case. The change throws off your sleep pattern unless you start adjusting now.
Start a couple of days early by adjusting your sleep.
Shelley Snow with ODOT says they want to avoid drowsy driving early next week. It'll be lighter in the morning, and it'll get dark earlier at night.
You've got to be looking out for people because it's going to be darker. It's going to be different.
You'll especially want to watch for kids. Snow says parents should buy reflective tape and put it on their jackets. Brad Ford, KPNW.
Democrats in the Oregon legislature may have a problem this fall. Republicans have a fighting chance to claw back seats in the House and Senate. That is thanks to an unusual number of open seats, a slate with some moderate candidates, and an infusion of local and national cash. Now, Democrats aren't expected to lose control of either chamber, but the defeats could erase their 18-12 supermajority in the Senate and cut well into their 35-25 majority in the House. That would threaten their ability to shove through their priorities in 2017. For instance, from requiring businesses to provide paid family leave to raising the gas tax for a long-anticipated transportation package and ramming through more onerous gun laws. However, in urban areas, Democratic numbers continue to expand, and those numbers are growing in areas like Hood River and the Dalles. Registered Democrats already outnumber Republicans in 39 of the 60 House districts and 22 of the 30 Senate districts, according to an analysis of data from the Secretary of State's office. In a little over a decade, as much as 85% of Oregonians are going to be living in those well-populated Democratic areas, according to Jim Moore, director of the Tom McCall Center for Policy Innovation at Pacific University. Moore says that lawmakers will likely redraw their districts after the national censuses in 2020 and 2030 and shift seats from rural areas to more Democratic population centers. In other words, gerrymandering. Moore said this year's most competitive House races are clustered in Portland's suburbs in a district between Salem and Woodburn. Police in Corvallis say a man has suffered life-threatening injuries after being burned in a field east of the Highway 34 bypass. The police responded Wednesday to a call of a man on fire. Several agencies responded to the scene, and the man was taken to a Portland hospital by helicopter. Chief Andy Loudon of the Corvallis Police Fire Department says the man was not on fire when crews arrived, but they did have to put out flames at a nearby gas tank. Police closed down the highway bypass in both directions for over an hour so a helicopter could land on the road. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Demand's going to be high for Oregon campgrounds on August 21st. That's because people want to see the solar eclipse that's going to be happening August 21st, and people are going to be flooding the state for it. Brad Ford has details on how you can go out and reserve a campsite.
Oregon's campground reservation system normally allows you to reserve a campsite 9 months in advance for up to 14 days, but not this year.
You won't be able to reserve any of those sites for August 17th through August 21st until November 17th.
Chris Hobble with Oregon State Parks says they have temporarily disabled the 14-day reservation option. Starting on November 17th, you can make a reservation.
Make a call or go online to OregonStateParks.org.
Hobble says you want to reserve a campsite a few days in advance and possibly a few days after because traffic is expected to be heavy for the eclipse on August 21st. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
The magnitude 3.8 quake that rattled Warrenton and Astoria yesterday morning was felt by a lot of people, and it rattled a lot of dishes, but it didn't cause any significant damage. Governor Kate Brown had a trip planned to Astoria. She met with emergency planners to discuss earthquake preparedness.
For me, it's just a wake-up call. We need to keep rolling up our sleeves, keep working, and keep doing the seismic retrofitting, and keep the planning and preparing happening.
The quake was centered about 10 miles west of Astoria. It's not caused, or it wasn't caused, by the subduction zone that they keep saying is going to cause a massive 9-magnitude earthquake here in Oregon in the next 50 years. The subduction zone is about 250 miles off the Oregon coast. Well, subtle feelings of loneliness may warn of impending Alzheimer's disease in older people. A new study from the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston found that healthy seniors with elevated levels of amyloid, that's a type of protein fragment associated with Alzheimer's, seem more likely to feel lonely than people with lower levels of that protein. The people who had high levels of amyloid were 7.5 times more likely to feel lonely than not. Studies have long shown that people who remain socially active are less likely to develop dementia, but the results also suggest that the relationship may work the other way around, that people in early stages of Alzheimer's may be more apt to feel lonely or socially detached. It's 6:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Sure as God made green apples, someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
They're singing, go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago!
Harry somewhere has everybody toasting the Cubbies today with something, maybe champagne, maybe something else. If the first 6 games of the World Series made a pretty good package as far as the series, the 7th game put it over the edge. Can you think of a better Game 7 ever? Case in point. First Game 7 in history that started with a home run. Chicago's Dexter Fowler kicking a run up on the Cubs scoreboard just like that. From there, the game would go 10 innings and last 4 hours, 45 minutes, including a 17-minute rain delay. Seemed like everything Chicago would get, like a 5-1 lead, the Cleveland Indians would have an answer. Finally, in the top of the 10th, Miguel Montero singled in Anthony Rizzo, and that was it. The 108-year drought over for the Windy City's National League representative, the Chicago Cubs. World Series champs, finally winning 8-7 over the Cleveland Indians. NBA, after getting crushed by the Golden State All-Stars, the Portland Trailblazers looking to get back on track themselves. They found the road a bit rocky in Phoenix, of all places. Blazers get popped in overtime on an Eric Bledsoe fadeaway 3 at the buzzer. Suns get their first win, 118-115 over our Portland Trailblazers. College football playoff selection committee has released their first invite list. Right now, it's number 1 Alabama at the top, followed by Clemson, Michigan, and then Texas A&M over Washington. judging on their strength of schedule. No Oregon football team anywhere in that conversation, but the men's basketball team, a different story. Either ranked 5th or 4th, depending upon the poll. Also out this week, Dylan Brooks, the Oregon junior trying to get healthy, has been named a preseason All-American. And lastly, Oregon junior linebacker Eddie Hurd arrested on misdemeanor charges of 4th-degree assault and harassment. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Ask about Emerge, a refreshing energy drink that comes in 14 flavors with no negative effects. Max Muscle on Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time 7:23.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, I wouldn't bother grabbing the umbrella. You won't need it today as high pressure's moving in. Now, we had some light rain overnight, but no real accumulation as a weak cold front moved in. Now, once that little light rain evaporated, it has led to patchy dense fog off and on this morning. I expect that to burn off by about 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies as high pressure moves into the region, deflecting most of the incoming storm energy up towards the western side of Washington, stretching into Canada. That means for us, we'll see highs back in the mid to low 60s. Winds will shift north at 5 to 10. And the next couple of days actually look pretty good as high pressure will dominate over the Pacific Northwest. That means no chance at rain until Saturday when the next storm system starts to rush its way in. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you enjoy this dry weather and get ready for a wet weekend.
When you need foundation repairs, turn to the foundation experts at Ramjack West. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Serving Oregon and Washington. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, sponsored by Eugene's #1 electrical contractor, Builders Electric. How many times as a kid when you did something fun or different, someone told you to grow up? Act your age, or simply don't be so childish. Well, I think Dave Barry, the famous columnist, said it best when he told us, "You're only young once, but you can always be immature." Hooray, hooray, someone finally gave me permission to have more fun in life. Tell more funny stories, pull more practical jokes, give more hugs, show people the humorous things in life. And when we get to act out those stories, it makes life even more fun. But who knows? We might even enjoy life and live longer. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
This Motivational Minute was brought to you by Builders Electric, providing honest, reliable, and positive contracting throughout the Willamette Valley since 1960. That's Builders Electric, CCB number 4296.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
This week is the outerwear extravaganza at Coastal's November savings event. Full blue line jeans are just $17.99. All Burn men's and ladies outerwear vests are $15 off. Kids Burn is $10 off. Select Carhartt outerwear for men and women is 40% off. Also, black Detroit duck jackets from Carhartt are just $69.99 and include free embroidery. See store for details. You'll find great prices in every aisle of the store. Boots, fencing, livestock and pets, outdoor power, even stoves. Save over $1,000 on a Quadrifire gas fireplace insert package, plus get a free vent kit. Now through Saturday is Coastal's November savings event. Since 1963 and just what the country needs.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Locally in Albany, Eugene, and Roseburg.
I'm Jeremy. And I'm Chris with Home Comfort. When we say the one to call, the one means no matter what the problem. From security lighting, generator systems, panel changeouts, service upgrades, with technicians available 24/7.
Or HVAC, from routine cleanings to breakdowns. Home Comfort's an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. So our highly skilled technicians will ready your house for any season.
727 News Radio 1120 KPNW. That's us. That's what you're listening to, the Wake Up Call, live and local. Just down the hall is our, I guess, stepbrothers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But
It's our brother station.
in our family is KDOC 104.7. That's is that the radio station that all the kids listen to, all the kiddies, Val?
Yeah, I think they do. There's some of them.
Okay.
A lot of their moms and big sisters too, I'm sure.
Okay, cool. Val Steele, who is the afternoon host and the program director of this 104.7 KDOC.
Of which we speak.
And, if I'm not mistaken,
Hi, Val.
of all the 21 years that we've had the Stuff the Bus affair, you've been a part in one way or the other of every single one of them.
Every single one. I've never missed one. It's a part of, it kind of kicks off my holidays every single year. Although it's a little earlier this year, it feels kind of funny.
It does feel a little funny.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say funny, I'd say peculiar.
Well, it just usually feels like there's Stuff the Bus and then the next week's Thanksgiving, and we have a little bit of a jump in between there, but we really want to get people thinking about giving during the holidays, giving all year round, but especially during the holidays. If we move it forward a little bit, people really start thinking about it, and maybe in those 2 weeks, if they can't give with Stuff the Bus, they'll find a way to give to Toys for Tots or Food for Lane County in another way as well.
I don't know why you're complaining, because you get to go home in between broadcasts, because you used to have to be on the bus the entire time, correct?
Yeah. For the first few years, we actually stayed on the bus. That was miserable. Miserable. But it gives you, I guess it kind of gives you a taste of, I mean, there are people in our community that live in buses, live in their vehicles.
Or don't live in homes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we can sit here and kind of laugh now, but obviously not a funny topic.
Yeah, good point. So what is the ask?
It's really not how much you give, it's that you find a way to give. We're out there collecting food for Lane County. Everyone, I think most everyone is familiar with this charity and with the amazing work that they do throughout our community with 60 different service organizations, with their dining rooms, their meal halls, the emergency food baskets, the community garden. I mean, there's so many ways that they're not just supplying emergency food to people, but also helping people learn how to make their food dollars go farther, or just being a part of their, whether it's Meals on Wheels with our seniors who are homebound. There's so many ways that they affect our community in a positive way. So even if it's a can of tuna or a jar of peanut butter or a can of chili, those high protein items really are the things that they need the most, because obviously the most nutrient-dense foods out there. They also need things like seasonings and cooking oils. Once again, they say 77% of people that receive emergency care through Food for Lane County cook at least one meal at home every day, and they're trying to get them to cook healthier, less expensive meals at home and teaching them how to do that. So like olive oils or dried spices or even seasoning salts, things like that can be really helpful too.
That's a good point, because they definitely, in addition to getting the food out there to all the pools and the food banks, they also do a big education thing as far as trying to improve not just food but good food.
They actually even do cooking classes to. Sometimes people don't. It sounds simple, but they don't know how do you make Brussels sprouts or green beans? Or do I microwave my vegetables? Do I steam my vegetables? Things like that that can also help the food be more nutrient rich for the people when they get it. And then on the food side, the toy side of things, Toys for Tots, they just kicked off their campaign for this year. They really do so much work, not only here in the Eugene-Springfield area, but also down in Cottage Grove, up in Oak Ridge. More than 7,000 children last year.
Wow.
So I know it's a crazy amount. Wow. And any new unwrapped toy, it's a lot of fun to buy toys for kids. Maybe you don't have any children or grandchildren in your lives now, and you kind of miss being able to buy those toys, and it is a lot of fun. They say the newborns get neglected a lot, and then the older kids, the teens, which are a little bit more difficult to buy for, often because those toys get so much more expensive. You're getting up into the realm of Xboxes, but they also say that anything sports is great for older kids. Even like Axe body spray kits or Old Spice, things like that an older boy or an older girl, when it comes to like the body sprays and body washes.
Oh my God,
like
please get them something better than Axe. My son, Brady went through that Axe phase,
And it was like he would walk out into the hall after he had taken a shower and had axed himself up, and it was just like,
Is it awful? Is it terrible?
Oh, God, it just about give you a headache.
I think it smells like burning ozone layer.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
Wait, so they're actually recommending that they buy this for the Toys for Tots campaign?
No, I'm just saying for the older kids. If you're thinking I have a 15-year-old kid at home, I'd like to buy something for a 15-year-old kid. Obviously, you're more well-versed in what a 15-year-old might want. But if you're sitting there going, what would an older kid want? Something Oregon Ducks or Beavers or Seahawks.
Girlfriend.
Or nice. Or the personal hygiene products. Can we just leave it at that? Okay, there you go.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Hey, have you been to the distribution point where they because they do the setup and they kind of do a cool little when they give out the toys to the kids that and the families that need, they have the parents actually get somewhat of a choice. It's pretty cool.
They get to go shopping pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful thing. You can find more details about this year's distribution, how you can find out whether you're eligible for this year's distribution, what information you need to bring with you to make sure that you can get your ticket and get your toys. It's toysfortots.org. You can also find Lane County Toys for Tots on Facebook.
Okay. All right, and kind of an interesting third day added to the schedule.
Really excited. Can you believe it? In 21 years, we've never had the bus on campus. And this year, a great service project that Chi Psi Fraternity is doing, they're taking this on campus as their philanthropy that they need to do every year. So they've been hosting a food drive amongst campus departments and the Greek system for the past 2 weeks. And today is kind of the culmination of that. So everyone's going to be bringing down all of their items that they've collected over the past 2 weeks. And then, of course, we're just encouraging staff, faculty, students, community members in that neck of the woods to stop on by. We're going to be on the east lawn of the Herb Memorial Union from 10 until 6 today.
And apparently it's gone through kind of a transformation. Will it be pretty apparent where we are down there in the EMU?
Yeah, we're not on the corner of 13th and University. We're on the backside, like if you were coming from student housing and walking towards the EMU. Gotcha. We're on that east side. And it's kind of hard to miss an LTV bus sitting in the middle of a lawn. So I think we'll be pretty visible.
Oh, we're actually going to be on the lawn.
Well, on the sidewalk that borders the lawn. But I mean, it's going to be hard to miss the bus sitting somewhere where it wouldn't normally be sitting. So we're also going to be doing something kind of cool. I'm not sure if any of your listeners know of this band called Friendship. They're in town tonight at the McDonald Theater with a group called Cherub. But we're going to be doing something special with them right around 2 o'clock, giving away a pair of tickets to see them and also doing a little meet and greet for the first 25 people that show up with a minimum donation of 5 cans of food.
Shut up. Are you saying they're going to be there for the meet and greet?
Yeah, they're going to come down and meet folks. So check them out. Their song Capsize is doing really well, and it's kind of neat to have them be a part of such a great event. There you go. Here we be. That'd be Friendship.
All right. Would we miss anything?
Just that it's really easy to give. It takes about 2 seconds. Thursday and Friday, the weather looks fantastic. So take advantage of that sunshine. If you gather the kids up or the grandkids up in the car, it's a really awesome thing to do with your kids to show them how simple and how easy it is to give and how good it feels to give to someone else in need. This is the perfect opportunity to teach them how to pay that forward. So we encourage you to do that.
Friday, the early part of the day, we're going to be at the Olympic location, the Olympic Walmart with the morning house party. And
yep,
then,
6 until 1.
Right, and then 2 to 8, you and I will be at the Green Acres location.
A.K.A. Delta.
Right, okay. And then Saturday from 7 to 12, Chino and Amanda are going to be at the neighborhood market, and that's Harlow, right?
Yes, 7 until 1, right there by Target. Yep.
Okay, and then, of course, bringing it home, as we always do, the West 11th out there in West Eugene, 2 to 8, we'll be hanging out and bringing home Stuff the Bus 2016 at the West 11th Walmart.
They don't call it a superstore for nothing.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
right?
Even if you don't have the food and the toys, they have them in the Walmart, and boy, do they have them.
LTD has been a part of this for the past 20 years. we obviously couldn't do a Stuff the Bus without a bus, so we really need to say thank you to LTD. And Walmart's been a partner for the past going on 7 years, and they do so much on a local level for the communities that they're in. They are a huge proponent and supporter and donator to Food for Lane County throughout the course of the year, as well as Toys for Tots, and they've really helped this drive grow and succeed over the course of the past few years. So just want to give a quick thank you to Walmart as well.
Are you sure about the 7 years?
Yeah, it's been. I think this is at least our 6th, if not our 7th year with Walmart.
That's cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you. I'll see you out there.
Yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Out there, Stuff the Bus. Of course, day one today. Don't confuse Walmart's Friday and Saturday today at the EMU East Lawn over there on University U of O. 738.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Investors turn their attention to tomorrow's release of the October jobs report for the next clue about where rates are heading. Unemployment is seen falling to 4.9%, with the economy adding 175,000 new jobs. Stocks are little changed this morning. Whole Foods co-founder John Mackey is now taking full responsibility for restoring the company to glory. The company named him as the sole CEO, ending a dual CEO role that he shared with Walter Robb for the past 6 years. Charter Communications, the cable provider that acquired Time Warner Cable and Bright House Networks earlier this year, posted quarterly sales that met analyst estimates on the strength of its internet business. Charter gained 13 million customers in cities like New York and Los Angeles. Adidas will scale back its struggling Reebok unit. It's a business that has weighed on the sporting goods maker for years. The company will focus on growing sales with wholesale partners. The number of outlet stores in the U.S. will be cut in half, and it will eliminate 150 positions. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
After an accident, you have the right to choose your own auto body repair shop. Todd's Auto Body will guide you through the insurance process and arrange for a car rental, and safety is Todd's top priority. Your car will be repaired beyond industry standards with a lifetime guarantee. Choose ToddsAutoBodyInc.com.
Oregon's Game Megabucks jackpot is over $6 million. Buy yours today.
We know Kathy Lamberg. She's been part of our community for over 50 years. The mother of 2 Iraq War veterans, Kathy Lamberg wants to improve services for veterans, including access to health care. A local educator, Kathy Lamberg, will work to ensure that every child receives the education they deserve, regardless of where they live. Vote for the leader we know and trust to represent us. Vote Kathy Lamberg for state representative.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lambert. I'd be honored to represent you in Salem. Together we can improve Oregon's schools and grow our economy.
It's easy to understand why Measure 97's tax on sales would increase costs for Oregon families.
97 is not a tax on business profits. It's a tax on sales, and it would impose a new state tax on sales of all types of essential goods and services.
97 would tax sales of electricity and natural gas, increasing our utility bills.
It would increase the cost of driving by taxing sales of gasoline, cars, and trucks.
97 would tax sales of phone, internet, and cable TV services.
It would even tax sales of food, medicine, and health care.
The state of Oregon's own nonpartisan study found that 97 would cost a typical Oregon household $600 per year.
That would especially hurt seniors on fixed incomes and low-income families who can least afford it.
And there's no guarantee how our money from this tax would be spent. The politicians could spend it however they choose.
To stop this deceptive and costly tax on sales, vote no on 97.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org. An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
KPNW weather, brought to you by Ram Jack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, you will not need your umbrella at all today. We had some light rain overnight from a weak cold front moving onshore, but no real accumulation. That little bit of rain did evaporate, and that's led to patchy, dense fog off and on out there. Otherwise, right now, we've got mostly cloudy skies, temps in the upper 40s to low 50s, and light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, high pressure down by California continues to move into the Pacific Northwest. It's going to act as a shield for the next 48 hours today and tomorrow, deflecting storm energy up towards Canada as well as up by Washington. But for us, partly cloudy skies this afternoon, maybe even a couple hours of mostly clear. We'll see the highs in the upper 50s to low 60s, 62 here in town, with winds out of the north at 5 to 10. Now, that high pressure looks to stick around today and tomorrow, but I'm already tracking the next storm system set to bring heavy showers throughout the day on Saturday, tapering off into your Sunday morning. Be prepared for that. Saturday will be wet, but Sunday looks to be dry. In the next couple of mornings, today and tomorrow, the fog will be in play. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
When you are a man,
entertain your brain.
Sometimes you wear stretchy pants in your room.
With the Wake Up Call.
It's for fun.
On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Wait a second. Hold it. Stand by. Get the band ready.
Band is ready.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. This, by the way, would be technically an orchestra. But it takes a while to get the orchestra, everybody in their place.
Everybody look out eastward. Take a deep breath, maybe a beverage out there to the back patio or the front yard, depending upon where your house is situated. And just take a look-see at the horizon out there. Even through the trees, we can see hues of some purple, a little violet, some orange, maybe chartreuse. We haven't played this in a while, have we?
Played it not all that long ago.
Okay, we played it once, but before that, we hadn't played it in a while.
Right.
I don't know that we're going to be able to play this on Saturday morning. Oh, because we won't be on the air. We won't be here to play it.
Right.
Plus, it's going to be raining.
That's right. So that's our 744 homage to Sunrise.
To the sunrise. People are like, what?
Yeah, well, who are these people?
Who are these people?
What are they doing? Why do they do that? No wonder they only have 15 people that care about them.
How many people have actually, okay, I'll take the hat off and will actually take that seriously? Have you had anybody that...
The 15?
I've had a couple of people that say, you guys have to have more than 15, right?
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
People say that. And I always would say, no. No, of course not.
Have you listened to the show?
Exactly. That's where I was going.
Okay, so if you have access to the internet, you'll be able to get all this information at the comfort of a click away. If not, then we'll go ahead and kind of spell in the details, but we have the 2016 Take Your Best Shot from Oak Grove Ventures.
That's Oak Grove Guns, for those of you that didn't know that. So Oak Grove Guns, this is pretty cool. They did this last year. All you have to do is go to our website, kpnw.com, and you take this year's, deer, elk that you've managed to bag. Make sure that you got a picture of it. You can upload the picture right there, email it to us. Make sure that you include something that shows that you actually have, like, a tag, and you have to be 18 years of age or older. All right? And you could be winning a Remington 783, right? Is that what it says up there, Rob? Is that what it says up there? 783?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Remington 783.
That's what it says right there.
Yeah.
And that's in any caliber that they have. You get to choose the caliber on it, which is pretty cool. We've had a couple of daily winners, and at the end of this, what's going to happen is we pick the daily winners. And at the very end, what we'll do is we'll just randomly draw one of our daily winners, and that person will be the official winner of said Remington 783.
How about an example of like a daily prize? What kind of things can people win?
Daily prize. We got different restaurant things. Bottles of wine. How about that? A bottle of wine. Somebody gets a nice bottle of wine. So that kind of stuff. So anyway, get yourself involved in this. You could win a brand new rifle in the caliber of your choice, and it's a way that you can kind of show off, the fact that you went out and you were successful hunting this year. I've got a friend, Jason, who has been all year all season trying to get one, and he keeps talking about, I have seen like 200 does, and I have not seen one buck this year. And then I get this text message from him, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, and he's like, yeah, it figures 10 minutes after sunset, because you can only, for those of you who don't hunt, you can only hunt during, daylight hours.
You can't hunt in the dead of night?
10 minutes after sunset.
What?
He goes, 10 minutes after I can legally shoot something, what do I see?
They know.
And he goes, yeah. He goes, I see this huge buck. It's like, oh, I'm sorry for you.
You know what? Good for him for abiding by the rules.
Well, yeah.
How many people?
Well, because, no
one's going to see.
Real sportsmen and sportswomen follow the rules. They get it. They understand. The folks that are the real sports people get it. So, but yeah, he was just like, he's so frustrated. It's funny. And he just texted me, he's apparently listening right now. He goes, yeah, it was a nice one, 3-point. He's laughing out loud. Sorry, man. Had to mention you on the air.
749 News Radio 1120 KPNW. We would like to enter you and welcome you to the winner's circle. If you haven't won in a while, we've got good things. We come bearing gifts.
Yes. Gonna give these away, do you think? Ooh. We're gonna yes.
Mackenzie Cider and Craft Beer Festival. Not just one.
Right.
In fact, they have both. And they got the half hop, half apple in their logo.
Yeah. And you get, by the way, 2 tickets, and these tickets will get you in both days.
Don't say that if that's not the case.
So, yeah, we don't screw around on this stuff.
Wow. All right.
There is no goofing.
Here is what we're going to here's what we're going to be looking for. Okay? This might take longer than 20 seconds. The United States has only formally declared war 5 times. The rest of the wars technically were military engagements. We've only declared war 5 times. What were they? What were the 5 scenarios? 541-485-KPNW, 888-KPNW, 888.
So we're going to...
I was going to give a clue, but I'm
going to give a clue.
Okay.
Grenada, not a declared war.
Oh, good one.
Thank you.
Okay. That should leave it wide open. We had every line that was lit kind of go by the wayside. I'll repeat the question. You get it right. People are sitting there Googling. Okay. The United States has only formally declared war 5 times. 541-485-KPNW. 2 tickets up for grabs.
Does the war on drugs count? Was that a declared war, or was that just a title? See, because that could be a 6th war. Then there was the war on poverty. It's another declared war. Well, or undeclared, or not a war, but they called it that. Then there's the mattress price wars.
KPNW, good morning.
Hey,
I have to turn you up. Hang on one second.
About the declared wars.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War, the World War I, and World War II. Those are my guesses.
I think you got 3 of them.
I got 3 of them?
You got 3. Okay, if we'll put this out there. If nobody gets more than 3, then we'll make you the winner by default.
I can't hear you very good because of the music.
Oh, sorry.
Turn the music down, Rob. God.
How about now?
Can you hear him? Now she can't hear us at all.
No, I can hear you. Which
okay.
ones did I get right?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're not going to tell me. Okay, on
Because
to the next caller.
what we would do is aid probably somebody else in winning the tickets, and then you would not like that. So, what is your name?
It's Deanna. I'm in Eugene.
Hi,
Deanna.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, well, you guys have a good day.
Well, hang on one second.
Wait.
Don't go anywhere.
We're going to put you on hold forever.
Everybody's so patient and patient. KPNW, good morning.
Hi.
Hi there.
What do you think they are?
5. You
We
got
got
'em?
1812,
Okay.
Mexican-American War,
Yeah.
Spanish-American War,
Yes.
World War I, World War II.
Ooh, all 5.
Okay.
Oh, man. Sorry, Deanna.
What is your name?
Benjamin.
Benjamin, did you actually cheat and look them up? You've already got the tickets, but we just want an honest answer. Or did you Google or did you know them?
I might have happened to see something somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You know what?
We appreciate your honesty.
On this particular show, we reward you for cheating.
All right, that's perfect.
Yeah. So.
But is that cheating technically, or is that researching?
Well, it's
researching.
It's a level playing field.
Yeah.
You know, anybody could do it. It's not like I had any special access to anything.
Yeah, and it's not like that. We're doing like a citizenship test or anything like that.
Right.
And bottom line, who cares about all of this? The bottom line is you're drinking. Right?
Yep, that's great.
Getting some good brews. So we would like a report Monday, like which ones you liked, your favorites, and all that stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Benjamin, don't
Hang
go
on the
anywhere.
line.
Hang on 1 second. See?
Good job.
That's how it works. All right, hour number 3 coming up on a Thursday. It's still Thursday. I know. It seems like it should be Friday or Saturday at this point with this heap o' mess. Gary coming up, and in fact, we got a bunch of guests coming up in the 8 o'clock hour right here on KPNW.
Did you know slow internet can actually hold your business back? Say goodbye to slow downloads, slow backups, slow everything. Comcast Business offers blazing fast and reliable internet that's 10 times faster than slow internet from the phone company. Say hello to fast internet speeds up to 150 megabits per second. Plus, did you know that in addition to fast internet, you can also add TV and phone for your business for just an additional $34.90 a month? Comcast Business TV helps keep your employees informed. And you get full-featured phone service with unlimited local and long-distance calls. And did you know all this is only a phone call away? Call 800-501-6000. Comcast Business, built for business.
Offer ends 12/21/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new customers. 2-year contract required. Requires Comcast Business Internet and an additional monthly charge. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast 150 megabits per second and 15 megabits per second DSL downloads.
Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair would like to remind you that weather is changing and winter is right around the corner. Getting your vehicle ready requires more than just installing snow tires. Your antifreeze protection needs to be checked, belts and hoses inspected and replaced if needed, and windshield wipers replaced for clear vision ahead. Stop by Mid-Lane Truck and Equipment Repair today to schedule an appointment, and don't let old man winter leave you out in the cold. Call 541-345-7570 or visit midlanetruckequiprepair.com.
Lane County's premier women's event, attracting thousands of women, The Affair of the Heart is now accepting vendor applications for 2017. Now is the time to reserve your booth. Log on to theaffairoftheheart.com to secure your spot. Sponsored by Shelton Turnbull, Green Solutions Printing.
Local news, local people, Holloway in London, and the wake-up call. I
want you to get up now.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Denial and magical thinking are powerful human coping devices for responding to helplessness and fear. A lot of people lean heavily on both when thinking about retirement, which they seldom do in any depth. According to Teresa Ghilarducci, an economics professor who studies such things, about half the people in the middle class now approaching retirement are going to be poor when they get there. 75% have less than $30,000 in their retirement accounts, when they'd need 30 to 40 times that amount to maintain their standard of living. Here's the nugget. A good rule of thumb is that you need savings of about 20 times your last annual earnings to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. That means if you earn $50,000 a year, you need $1 million. Maybe a bit less if your house is paid for. So many people in their 50s and beyond simply don't have a chance. Some think they'll just keep working, but health problems or having a job disappear out from under them will make that impossible for many. That leaves Social Security, which was designed to replace just 40% of your income, not the 70% you need to stay afloat. So a lot of baby boomers are headed for poverty, whether they choose to recognize and prepare for it or not. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Here's something I'll bet you didn't know. St. Vincent de Paul sells more used appliances than anyone in Lane County. That's because we pick up good used appliances, refurbish them, guarantee them, and sell them at low, low prices. So if you're looking for a good reconditioned appliance, check with us first. We're St. Vincent de Paul, where you can always have some fun, save some money, and do something nice for your neighbors. St. Vincent de Paul. We're in the phone book and online.
This message is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul in association with EARS.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The economy continues to expand and both inflation and employment are close to the central bank's goals. What Federal Reserve officials don't know is what will happen to financial markets after Election Day on November 8th. As expected, the Fed left rates unchanged yesterday but telegraphed their intent to raise rates in December. This morning, stocks are slightly higher, but holding back equities is Facebook. The social network reported a quarter that blew past expectations, but shares are falling after executives suggested that they won't be able to repeat the performance. Facebook CFO said revenue growth rates will come down, quote, meaningfully next year, and capital expenditures will rise substantially as the company works to build data centers. U.S. automakers managed to improve their average fuel economy in 2015, even with the growing popularity of pickups, minivans, and SUVs. That's according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Cars averaged a record 24.8 miles per gallon during the 2015 model year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. President Obama's about to campaign for Hillary Clinton again, this time in Florida. He's called all the reporting about FBI investigations into Clinton noise and distraction. She'll go to North Carolina today after again attacking Donald Trump in Nevada and Arizona last night as offensive and dangerous.
Maybe, heaven forbid, start a real war instead of just a Twitter war.
Now, Trump will also be getting some help campaigning today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Melania Trump will campaign for her husband in Pennsylvania, where polls show Clinton's lead has been shrinking. This is Mrs. Trump's first big campaign appearance since her speech at the Republican National Convention. Trump, who appears to be moderating in recent days, is making stops in Florida and North Carolina.
No sidetracks, Donald. Nice and easy. Nice. Because I've been watching Hillary the last few days. She's totally unhinged. We don't want any of that.
Also on the trail today, Trump's former political nemesis Ted Cruz, joining running mate Mike Pence for events in Michigan and Iowa. Dave.
Regional New York Times CBS poll out today has Clinton with a 3-point lead. A federal judge in Las Vegas will hear today from a Trump campaign official who's training poll watchers in Nevada as Democrats push for a restraining order, fearing voters will be harassed. The trial's begun in South Carolina. Former police officer Michael Slager.
For his decision to shoot an unarmed man in the back 5 times.
Solicitor Scarlett Wilson in opening statements this morning. Slager's white. The driver he shot running from a traffic stop, Walter Scott, is black. They didn't get a lot of sleep, but they don't mind in Chicago. Cubs fans still celebrating their first championship in 108 years. That's them cheering the team outside Wrigley Field this morning as the Cubs returned, holding the World Series trophy hoisted high. They won Game 7 of the World Series in Cleveland last night. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You want to earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans.
Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
In addition to the 2 American troops killed in Afghanistan in a battle with the Taliban last night, we're now learning 4 others were wounded. The FBI is now investigating a fire at a church in Mississippi with predominantly black members, and on the mostly charred building, someone spray-painted "Vote Trump." Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
The fire Tuesday night at the Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church in Greenville, Mississippi has been called a heinous, hateful, and cowardly act. The mayor of Greenville also called it a hate crime and said the FBI is assisting in the investigation. Mississippi's Republican Governor Phil Bryant said he expects a suspect will be identified and brought to justice. Trump's presidential campaign said that it was deeply saddened for the members of the church community and condemned in the strongest terms the arson fire that it said has no place in our society. Dave?
John, race has also become an issue in a Senate campaign in Louisiana.
Protesters not happy about white supremacist David Duke and his inclusion on the Louisiana U.S. Senate debate stage. Many rallying outside Wednesday's debate at historically African-American Dillard University in New Orleans. Inside, Duke did not receive a friendlier reception, getting blasted by other candidates and sparring with debate moderator John Snell.
Move on. Mr. Fleming, go ahead.
Silence me now? Are you going to silence me?
Duke stands almost no chance of actually winning the Senate seat Tuesday. A recent Fox 8 Mason-Dixon survey shows him polling at just 5%. Tom Graham, Fox News.
Now, that Senate race in Louisiana is unusual. It's called a jungle primary. There are some 24 candidates on the ballot next week, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. 6 qualified for that debate last night. The top 2 vote-getters will then be in a runoff election December 3rd. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 29 points. The Nasdaq's down 12. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
KPNW 805, News Radio 1120, KPNW with the Wake Up Call live and local from the Widmer Brothers Studios here at the Bi-Coastal Radio Complex over by the river. Whoa. Holy cow, what is going on?
That was nice. What happened there?
Yeah, I'm just picking up the needle. If I don't like it, I just move on.
That's good. I like that. Oh, now I like it. Now, go back to the Stones.
You didn't know we had a turntable in here, huh? Oh.
That's one of the craziest albums ever.
Partly cloudy and 65 for the temperature high. Cloudy and pretty good looking couple of days into a rainy Saturday. Sunday is not that bad. By the way, thank you, Don Parker. Probably one of the most incredible sunrise shots. And if you're new to the show, what we do here is we have people send in photos if they have a kind of a cool perspective or some kind of... he's got kind of a cool wasping of fog in the valley floor with many different shades of orange and a little bit of reddish here and there. It's a great shot. We'll put it on the Facebook page. And when you look at the photo, you will hear our theme song for the sunrise. I'm telling you, Don, thank you for the creation.
Just got an email from Shelley. She says, I couldn't call you while driving, but when you were talking about this Mackenzie Cider Fest just a couple of minutes ago, for folks who are interested, LTD is a sponsor, and you can go to the Mackenzie Cider Fest Facebook page and download a ticket to ride LTD for free.
Okay, so you can't use your actual ticket.
Apparently you can use your actual ticket because it says right on it, free LTD bus rides. So I'm assuming you can. But, you know, that's a way that if you don't win the tickets or you're going to buy your tickets at the door and you want to go for, take the LTD for free, that's the way you can do it.
What a great service.
Hello, Shelley. Thanks for the email. And so just go to the Mackenzie Cider Fest Facebook page and download your ticket.
Is she going to be a part of the news as well?
Shelley?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
We have a Shelley as a part of the news, so I thought maybe this was like our celebratory moment of Shelley.
Oh, you thought this was going to be a Shelley cast?
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Shelley will be up, another Shelley will be up moments away to give you advice about the whole time change.
Yeah, because you need the advice because essentially you are lame.
We've been watching, and you have difficulty when they shift the time forward or backwards.
We've watched people just stagger around, stumbling, going, I don't know the time, I don't know where I'm at, I'm sleepy, I don't get it, I've crashed my car.
All right, news coming up. We've got some sports. Conley, it's going to be a very chaotic hour. Yes, stand by. It's coming your way.
The days are shorter, the weather is gloomy, and then there's the stress of the holidays around the corner. It just seems like this time of year it's hard to catch a break. So take a deep breath and stop by Burrito Amigos. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Burrito Amigos is that happy little corner of your day where the meal is good and tasty and the people make you feel special. For breakfast, stop by the drive-thru on West 6th in Eugene or on 42nd Street in Springfield. Not only can you get a great bacon, sausage, machaco, or chorizo burrito, but you can also get a hot espresso just the way you like it. To bookend the day, maybe you don't want to go home and deal with cooking, so grab the family and head to Burrito Amigos for a sit-down meal with burritos, tacos, nachos, tostadas, tamales, taco salad, enchiladas, tortas, and more. And you can get what you want with real cod, black Angus beef, chicken, pork, even tofu. And of course, Burrito Amigos will give you a little happiness in the middle of the day with a great lunch. Don't let the dark, cold stress of the season get you down. Get a Burrito Amigos smile. Burrito Amigos in Eugene and Springfield.
The Veterinary Hospital is Eugene, Oregon's premier pet hospital. Open 7 days a week, our fully licensed and AHA accredited team offer the latest in therapeutic laser technology to promote healing and pain management for your pet. The Veterinary Hospital. We care about pets and their people too.
Oregon's Game Megabucks jackpot is over $6 million. Buy yours today.
This tip of the week brought to you by Neurospine Institute.
You probably don't think about your neck much until it hurts. With stresses such as poor posture, tension, muscle strain, or injuries from accidents or sports, it's no wonder your neck is at risk for pain and injury. The physicians at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the cause of your neck problem through a physical exam and diagnostic tests. Then, they'll determine the best course of treatment for you through improved self-care, physical therapy and exercise, medication, or surgery.
Are you living with chronic pain? The specialists at Neurospine Institute can diagnose the problem and develop a personalized treatment plan to address your symptoms. Their comprehensive services include clinical and surgical procedures, sports medicine, physical therapy, medical imaging, and pain management. Neurospine Institute's medical professionals will work closely with your primary care or referring physician to ensure that you receive the best care and treatment. They serve all of Western Oregon with 2 locations, the main campus in Eugene and their Roseburg Clinic. Visit neurospinellc.com today and get your life back.
Local news, local people. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. The ongoing rancor of this year's election is spilling over locally, with ballot security being a huge issue faced by Lane County elections. As a result, Lane County election teams are emptying out ballot boxes while being accompanied by members of the Democratic and Republican parties several times a day. According to Lane County Clerk Cheryl Betchard, at this point, even the teams are being screened. Elections has gone so far as to put some ballot boxes under security camera surveillance. And believe it or not, our 24-hour emergency phone number is available on official ballot boxes to report suspicious activity. Volunteers from the Republican Party are also spot-checking ballot boxes to ensure they're secure. Democratic and Republican parties plan to have volunteers during ballot counts and report any issues they see that arise. Well, that's going to be fun election night. A man was cited in connection to a situation in downtown Eugene. Again, this is the same guy that was part of a situation that nearly caused a riot. Jeremy Edward Lowry is a 29-year-old, and he was cited in connection with the incident in the park blocks on October 21st that nearly caused the riot. Police said an officer was patrolling the area Tuesday afternoon, and whom did they see in the park blocks? Lowry, wearing the same clothing as he was wearing during the incident. The officer cited Lowry with interfering with police. They said there was probable cause to do so. Should a University of Oregon senior law professor be fired after dressing up in blackface for Halloween? That is a question now being argued at the university. An online petition is demanding the yet unnamed law professor resign, and the university's president is condemning the woman's actions. In an email to students, U of O President Michael Schill said the use of blackface, even in jest at a Halloween party, is patently offensive and reinforces historically racist stereotypes. It was a stupid act, and it is in no way defensible. The professor has been placed on administrative leave pending completion of a civil rights investigation. Now, a friend, or at least a cohort of the professor, says that the costume was meant to depict Black Man in a White Coat, a doctor's reflections on race and medicine. That's a book that was written by Dr. Damon Tweedy, and it recounts the racism that he encountered in medical school. However, the professor in question is yet to publicly state the meaning behind her going in a blackface costume. Well, Broadcom is now reportedly buying Brocade Communications Systems Incorporated. Now, if you set your Wayback Machine to Tuesday, you'll remember, Broadcom announced it was pulling the plug on plans to open up shop in the old Hynix building in West Eugene. Well, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and Forbes has reported that the company is buying Brocade for $5.9 billion and is making the acquisition to be able to capitalize on the demand for cloud computing. Broadcom had said that it was going to spend millions of dollars on the West Eugene location, and then they pulled the plug, put the property up for sale again, and said, we're not doing it. But they never said why. You can pretty much bet this has something to do with it. The business journals are saying that Broadcom is moving away from actually making chips, which is what they were going to do at Hynix, because the smartphone market is softening, and that Broadcom is moving towards focusing on connectivity between different digital technologies in the cloud. All right, here it is, Rob's favorite story. Saturday night before you go to bed, and I have to say it's mine as well, you need to turn back your clock by an hour. And Bradford says it is going to affect your sleep pattern, and it could make you tired next week.
The clock rolls back. That means you get an extra hour of sleep, and you'd think you'd be more rested. But sleep experts say that won't be the case. The change throws off your sleep pattern unless you start adjusting now.
Start a couple of days early by adjusting your sleep.
Shelley Snow with ODOT says they want to avoid drowsy driving early next week. It'll be lighter in the morning, and it'll get dark earlier at night.
You got to be looking out for people because it's going to be darker. It's going to be different.
You'll especially want to watch for kids. Snow says parents should buy reflective tape and put it on their jackets. Brad Ford, KPNW.
It's going to be dark earlier, and it's going to be different. It's pretty much the end of civilization as we know it. Democrats in the Oregon legislature have a problem this fall. Republicans have a very good chance of clawing back seats in the House and Senate, thanks to an unusual number of open seats, a slate of moderate candidates, and an infusion of cash. Democrats aren't expected to lose control of either chamber, but defeats could erase their 18-12 supermajority in the Senate and gnaw into their 35-25 majority in the House. That would threaten their ability to ram through their priority social engineering bills in 2017, including requiring small businesses to provide paid family leave, to raising the gas tax for their transportation package, and cramming through more onerous gun laws. However, the demographics in Oregon are shifting, mostly to urban areas where Democratic numbers continue to expand, and they're even growing in smaller urban areas like Hood River and the Dalles. Registered Democrats already outnumber Republicans in 39 of the 60 House districts and 22 of 30 Senate districts, according to an analysis of data from the Secretary of State's office. In a little over a decade, as much as 85% of Oregonians could be living in those areas, according to Jim Moore, director of the Tom McCall Center for Policy Innovation at Pacific University. Moore said that lawmakers will then likely redraw their districts after national censuses in 2020 and 2030 and actually shift seats out of rural areas to the more democratic population centers. In other words, gerrymandering. Moore said this year's most competitive House races are clustered in Portland suburbs and a district between Salem and also Woodburn. Well, demand is going to be high for Oregon campgrounds on August 21st for people wanting to see the solar eclipse, and they are expected to flood the state from outside of the state. Brad Ford says he's got the details on how you can reserve a campsite, which right now aren't even available.
Oregon's campground reservation system normally allows you to reserve a campsite 9 months in advance for up to 14 days, but not this year.
You won't be able to reserve any of those sites for August 17th through August 21st until November 17th.
Chris Hobble with Oregon State Parks says they have temporarily disabled the 14-day reservation option. Starting on November 17th, you can make a reservation.
Make a call or go online to OregonStateParks.org.
Hobble says you want to reserve a campsite a few days in advance and possibly a few days after because traffic is expected to be heavy for the eclipse on August 21st. I'm Brad Ford, KPNW.
This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones on KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Sure as God made green apples, someday the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the World Series.
Harry somewhere has everybody toasting the Cubbies with something, maybe champagne, maybe something else. Well, the first 6 games were good. The 7th game, amazing. Can you think of a better Game 7 ever? Case in point, first Game 7 in history that started with a home run. From there on, it would go on to 4 hours, 45 minutes, a 10-inning affair. Seemed like everything that Chicago would get, like a 5-1 lead, the Cleveland Indians would have an answer with. Finally, top of the 10th, Miguel Montero singled in Anthony Rizzo, and that was it. The 108-year drought for the Windy City's National League representative over. Chicago Cubs World Series champs with an 8-7 win over the Indians. NBA, after getting crushed by the Golden State All-Stars, the Portland Trailblazers looking to get back on track. They did not find any, hospitality in Phoenix. Blazers get popped in overtime on an Eric Bledsoe fadeaway 3 at the buzzer. 118-115, Suns over Blazers. College Football Playoff Selection Committee has released their first invite list. It goes like this: 1, Alabama, followed by Clemson, Michigan, and Texas A&M over Washington, judged on the strength of schedule. No Oregon football team in there, but the basketball team sure is, either ranked 5th or 4th, depending upon the poll. Also out this week, Dylan Brooks, the Oregon junior who's trying to get healthy. He's been named a preseason All-American. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Max Muscle. Ask about Emerge, a refreshing energy drink that comes in 14 flavors and has no negative effects. Max Muscle on Franklin, across from Market of Choice. News time, 8:20.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already out and about, you will not need your umbrella at all today. We had some light rain overnight from a weak cold front moving onshore, but no real accumulation. That little bit of rain did evaporate, and that's led to patchy, dense fog off and on out there. Otherwise, right now, we've got mostly cloudy skies, temps in the upper 40s to low 50s, and light winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, high pressure down by California continues to move into the Pacific Northwest. It's going to act as a shield for the next 48 hours today and tomorrow, deflecting storm energy up towards Canada as well as up by Washington. But for us, partly cloudy skies this afternoon, maybe even a couple hours of mostly clear. We'll see the highs in the upper 50s to low 60s, 62 here in town, with winds out of the north at 5 to 10. Now, that high pressure looks to stick around today and tomorrow, but I'm already tracking the next storm system set to bring heavy showers throughout the day on Saturday, tapering off into your Sunday morning. Be prepared for that. Saturday will be wet, but Sunday looks to be dry. The next couple of mornings, today and tomorrow, the fog will be in play. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a great day.
Does your home or business have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Discover why Ramjack is the only foundation company you'll ever need. Get your free in-home evaluation at ramjackwest.com. Choose Ramjack. CCB 146906.
You've heard me talk about glutamine and how important it is for your body. It repairs every cell in the human body, giving you overall optimal health. It's odorless, tasteless, and flavorless. Stop by, give it a try. You won't taste a thing. Max Muscle, Franklin Boulevard in Eugene.
I'm Isaac Jackson at Jackson Jones Law Office.
At our office, we represent people who have lost everything because of someone else's bad judgment. When someone takes something close to you, your health or a loved one, the right lawyer can help you walk through the stress, get the medical bills paid, and if needed, stand up and fight on your behalf. Our philosophy is simple. We start by meeting with you to give you a straightforward assessment of your case. Once that's done, we'll talk about what it means to hire a lawyer, whether it makes sense to try to get a settlement without a lawsuit, or whether we think it will take a fight. Our office specializes in wrongful death cases, accidents involving drunk drivers, and victims in violent car accidents. We want to help you move on, but if we need to, we will stand up and we'll fight for you. Call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797. Let's have a conversation. At Jackson Jones Law, we understand that everything can change in a second. If that's you, let us help you walk through this difficult time. Again, call me, Isaac Jackson, at 541-556-9797 at Jackson Jones Law.
In the past 16 years, have you had a conversation with your state representative? Do you know who has been representing you the last 16 years? Or do you only hear from them when they're running for re-election? Do you know that in the past 16 years, Oregon has one of the worst high school graduation rates in the country? Did you know that over the past 16 years, Oregon has tied with Mississippi for the highest food stamp usage in the country? And did you know in 16 years that Oregon was ranked as the second worst state to make a living behind Hawaii? We can do better. Hi, I'm Joe Batora, a first-time candidate for state representative, and I think it's time for new leadership. I'm running because I want to advocate for what's most important to you and for Oregon. Your voice matters to me. Go to joebatora.com and take my survey and tell me how I can best serve you. Let's get our schools, jobs, and families back on track. I'm Joe Batora, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative.
Due to technical difficulties beyond our control, the wake-up call will continue this morning.
The wake-up call. Pass it on. 1120 KPNW.
Joining us on the wake-up call. Hey, look. To my radio right, it's none other than Gary Connolly of Connolly Capital, the president, joining me on the wake-up call this morning, whereas Rob just, isn't even part of the equation.
Wow.
We just exclude him from this. I'm sorry, Rob.
But he's on your radio right.
Yeah, he's on my radio right. You would be on the radio left.
Am I on the radio left?
You're on the radio
Okay.
left.
All right.
All right. And I guess I'm radio center. Nice. Good for
In
me.
the center of the radio
I'm
universe.
the center
Bill
of the radio.
London.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, and that would make you left out, I guess, Rob.
Wow.
And that
Don't
would
forget
make me right, regardless of...
Right.
Don't forget I can turn off your mics. Yeah. Yeah. There they go.
He can get rid of us at any
Okay.
time. He has that power.
Gong.
Gosh, there's an election coming up on Tuesday, and I think a lot of people are sitting there looking at that, looking at the decision to make. Maybe they haven't voted for president yet. They look at it and go, yeah, we are hosed. So let's start there. And it really is history replaying itself.
Yeah, in many, many different ways. One of the things to keep in mind is that this probably is not an existential crisis, regardless of who gets elected and how passionate everybody is about it. The Republic is very likely to survive. Also, the bigger problems that we have are the long-term problems that we have with the economy and with people getting old and retirement and jobs being eliminated by technology. None of those are going to go away, and none of those are going to be changed very much regardless of who gets elected.
All right. That would be the nugget, right?
Well, that would be most of the nugget,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, these guys are as passionate as people are. There's an awful lot in common. Neither one of these people, I think, has any sense of ethics, or at least not much. And there's a large degree of paranoia on both sides, or at least would appear from. And so, regardless of who gets elected, in some ways it'll be a return to Richard Nixon, I think.
Yeah.
So, and
in what way? When you say a return to Richard Nixon, in what way?
Well, I think I think Nixon was, very self-centered.
Are you saying that Trump and Hillary are self-centered?
Yeah, very unethical, and exhibited a rather large degree of paranoia. So I don't see how, I mean, yeah,
That's a huge allegation.
You think?
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not that it doesn't make any difference, okay? But it's not, in my opinion, like I said, it's not an existential crisis. The worst outcome, I don't think, is that either one of them gets elected, and one of them will. It's interesting, as much as Hillary's pounded on Wall Street, as soon as Trump began to rally in the polls in the last week, the markets got unsettled, as somebody pointed out to me, which makes me think that maybe Hillary and Wall Street actually are in bed together. Or Clinton Inc. We don't have to call it Hillary necessarily. So
Clinton Inc.
Yeah. Well, with the foundation and all the
buying
rest.
favors, pay to play, to play.
Yeah, all the things that are going on there. And if if she gets elected, that's what you're going to get. Somebody else said, and this came out of the George Friedman stuff that we've been reading, that Trump is like Elmer Gantry. He claims he has the keys to heaven, but highly flawed, and that Hillary is a technocrat, really. That what you would get back is either Herbert Hoover or Jimmy Carter. The difference between Hillary and Jimmy Carter is I think Carter actually had a pretty highly developed sense of ethics in many ways. So, what you would get is a crooked Jimmy Carter.
Oh, God.
Crooked.
Way to sugarcoat it. A crooked Jimmy Carter. Criminy.
So,
and you're saying that's better than, or that's equal to than Trump?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're going to get with Trump.
Wow.
I'll tell you what I think.
That has got to be the biggest condemnation comment regarding Hillary Clinton I have ever heard. An unethical Jimmy Carter. That's frightening.
Yes, it is. But fortunately, the president, at least until you leave the water's edge, doesn't have very much power. I mean, they've usurped a lot more from the, not so much from the courts, and who appoints the court, the
Supreme Court
justices. That is
judges.
Yeah, that is important and has a lot of downstream
effect forever.
But they can't do very much without Congress, which has basically been in gridlock for what seems like forever. Although the ruling by fiat with executive orders, that has some effect, as we've talked about before also. So what I think is the two possible worst outcomes really are that either party wins both the presidency and both houses of Congress, because then you don't have gridlock the way the Founding Fathers designed it, and you do have the opportunity to make a lot of mischief, or worse. And the other thing that strikes me as a problem is that if Clinton in particular got elected, and then you have something come out of the emails that causes her to be, I believe it would be indicted before she's actually sworn in or impeached afterwards, that would be not an existential or a survival crisis, but that would be a crisis that would be very dangerous, particularly in the way the world is organized or not organized now, with the decay in Europe and the Middle East and on into Asia. I mean, there's a lot of world at war. Bill Clinton was impeached, but that was really a very peaceful time and a very prosperous time from an economic standpoint, and those things are very different now. So either of those things would frighten me, but if the Congress is split and either one of these, dare I say, clowns get elected, when one of them is going to, then it's going to be back to trying to manage the longer-term problems that we've got.
All right. Gary Conley from Conley Capital on the Wake Up Call. We'll see you next Thursday.
That you shall.
Next Thursday? All right, sounds good. It is 8:30, News Radio 1120 KPNW.
The Bloomberg Market Report, sponsored by Pacific Continental Bank, serving your business and community in Eugene for over 40 years.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are slightly higher as investors are waiting on Friday's payrolls report for further evidence that the economy can bear the Federal Reserve hiking rates. Economists estimate that employers added 175,000 jobs. Fitbit, though, is getting pummeled, down 30% in trading after the wearable gadget maker's sales forecast for the holiday shopping season fell well short of analysts' expectations. Volkswagen aims to reach a settlement with the U.S. government over a criminal investigation before the new president takes office. The car maker is trying to recover from the scandal triggered by manipulated diesel engine software. The company said negotiations with regulators are, quote, very good. The NFL was a sure thing for the TV networks until now. So far this season, Monday Night Football ratings are down 20% from this time last year, according to Nielsen data. Sunday Night Football has fallen 18.5%, and Thursday night games are down almost 22%. Some analysts say when the election is over, the audience will probably bounce back. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
This week is the outerwear extravaganza at Coastal's November savings event. Full blue line jeans are just $17.99. All Burn men's and ladies' outerwear vests are $15 off. Kids Burn is $10 off. Select Carhartt outerwear for men and women is 40% off. Also, black Detroit duck jackets from Carhartt are just $69.99 and include free embroidery. See store for details. You'll find great prices in every aisle of the store. Boots, fencing, livestock and pets, outdoor power, even stoves. Save over $1,000 on a Quadrifire gas fireplace insert package, plus get a free vent kit. Now through Saturday is Coastal's November savings event. Since 1963 and just what the country needs.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Locally in Albany, Eugene, and Roseburg.
There was a time when our biggest export on the South Coast was our people. Mills were closing, ports were quiet, jobs were scarce. Katty McEwen rolled up her sleeves and worked with her neighbors to make things better. On the school board, Katty worked to balance budgets fairly and make sure our kids got a quality education. On the Port Commission, Katty McEwen helped lead efforts to rebuild our infrastructure, like the Coos Bay Rail Line, so we could develop our economy. Thanks in large part to Katty McEwen's leadership, 1.5 million tons of cargo move through the port every year. And we're adding new high-wage marine jobs that can support a family. In the State House, Katty McEwen keeps leading, investing in job training programs, helping create the Oregon Promise to make community college free for deserving students, and standing up for seniors with tougher laws to crack down on fraud and abuse. State Representative Katty McEwen, she's always working for us.
Paid for by Katty McEwen for Representative.
KPNW weather brought to you by Ramjack West. Do you have foundation problems? Ramjack can fix that. Get your free quote at ramjackwest.com.
Good morning to you and yours. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes, I wouldn't bother grabbing the umbrella. You won't need it today as high pressure's moving in. Now, we had some light rain overnight, but no real accumulation as a weak cold front moved in. Now, once that little light rain evaporated, it has led to patchy dense fog off and on this morning. I expect that to burn off by about 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Temps right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s with winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10. This afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies as high pressure moves into the region, deflecting most of the incoming storm energy up towards the western side of Washington, stretching into Canada. That means for us, we'll see highs back in the mid to low 60s. Winds will shift north at 5 to 10. And the next couple of days actually look pretty good as high pressure will dominate over the Pacific Northwest. That means no chance at rain until Saturday when the next storm system starts to rush its way in. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation, the NBC 16 Weather Center, hoping you enjoy this dry weather and get ready for a wet weekend.
The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Can my honey come back? Sometime I'm on a rampage jack. Sometime I get a hump in my back. Sometime I'm going over here. Sometime can my honey come back? Sometime
I like this. News Radio 1120 KPNW. 8:36. Joining us from the McKinsey Business Association. Look who's here. It's Mickey Waters. She walked in. She goes, "Yeah, I'm the owner of Papa Murphy's." I'm like, "Wow, you own that whole thing?" And then she had to clarify for me.
I have a few of them, 5 of them, and my partners have 2, and so.
Why don't
7.
you call them Mama Murphy's then?
Well, because it came with the name. It was already there, but
It was before it became Papa Murphy's, though. It had a different name.
Papa Aldo's.
Papa
It was
Aldo's.
actually the merging of Murphy's Pizza and Papa Aldo's, and it came together to be.
Is that right?
Papa Murphy's. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, two different companies coming together. So great brand, great products.
I and my hands up on that. Yeah, they really do have great products. What is it? Well, before we get into that, how many franchises are there across the country? Is this just a Northwest thing, or is this a...
For Papa Murphy's, Papa Murphy's is actually in 35 states now and has over 1,500 locations in the United States and international. So there are locations in Canada and Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and we're continuing to grow. So if you want to become a Papa Murphy's franchisee,
Qatar is open.
Yeah. There's a number of places open.
So what are the differences between a pizza in Abu Dhabi and one that I'm going to get in Corvallis?
Probably the biggest difference is there's no pork products.
So in other words, there's no pizza.
There's chicken. Yeah. No, they have sourced, they've sourced pepperoni.
Soy, you can do soy pepperoni?
I actually don't know all of those, the ingredients there, but I do know that there are no pork products.
Is that why you got into the pizza, because you have a love for pizza, or were you looking for something that thought, well, that's a moneymaker?
I actually went to work for Papa Murphy's International, and I worked for the corporation. I had a 28-year career with the Burger King franchise here locally, went to work for Papa Murphy's International, the whole time being affiliated with McKinsey Business Association. That's kind of how I found the whole Papa Murphy's pork piece of it. And then when it came time for my husband, my husband said, are you ready to be off the road? Because I traveled quite a bit with Papa Murphy's. And I said, yeah. And the great people here had been, wondering if I would be interested in partnering with them. So here I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You got
I love
5 of them?
Yeah, I'm partner in 5, and then they have
Nice.
2 more, River Road and Junction City. So 7 altogether that we oversee. And
Do you ever get sick of pizza? Be
no,
honest.
I haven't.
Come on, be
I
honest.
absolutely am not. I love it. I love it. My husband doesn't think that we have it enough. When you're in the industry, sometimes you don't have all of what you. Yeah. So he every now and then is whining. Are we having pizza tonight? So.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, you mentioned that the McKinsey Business Association actually helped open that door for you on that franchise. How did that happen?
Well, McKinsey Business Association, I was affiliated with them in, it's been over 20 years. They're the longest running leads and networking group in this area since 1974. And it's a group of people that still has charter members in it. And through that, I became familiar with different food brands. I worked for Burger King, but through all of the networking and restaurateurs I would come in contact with, and Chamber of Commerce activities, I got to know the other brands. And one of them that I became, familiar with was Papa Murphy's. So for me, being able to explore that, learning from other people in the group what a great brand it was, and when a job opening came there, I had some background and I knew some people who were in the industry.
It wasn't really a job opening. It sounds like it was a business opportunity to own.
Well, originally it was a job because I worked for Papa Murphy's for 11 years, and then came that opportunity to own. So it's been great. But I think for us in the networking group, it is so much about learning each other's business and creating those opportunities to get to know each other, refer each other for all the businesses that we have. We have over 40 businesses in the group that attend. We have a Tuesday morning meeting, and you have to be devoted to go to a meeting at 6:45 every Tuesday morning. And these people are devoted
Or
to
like
doing,
us, be paid.
There you go, and be paid. We go every Tuesday morning. We share leads. We refer business to each other. It's people that I would send and refer your mother to. I want to have those kind of businesses, in my speed dial on my phone. The car dealership, the Amco dealer, the plumber, those kind of people that sometimes are hard to get in, get on your resource list.
Is it
Great
hard?
people.
Is it hard to? I had a friend who was in business, and he said he was always looking for somebody to be the mouthpiece, to be out there, the wheeler, because that wasn't him.
Right.
Some people aren't, out there pressing the flesh. Is it hard to be a part of that networking crew?
In McKinsey Business Association, I would say that it is probably a more comfortable group of people because these people are talking to each other at the breakfast table
Have
over a cup of
relationships.
coffee and having that relationship exactly so that they're not out pounding the streets. Some of them are street pounders, no doubt about it. They're on your radio stations all the time. They're advertising right here on Bicoastal. They're on television, but there are a core group of people. Dry Pro. You don't hear a lot about Dry Pro. Dry Pro they are premier in making sure that mold and water that you may have from a leak or something like that is cleared up, but you don't hear a lot about them, but people using them all over the place because a lot of the plumbers refer them and they do great work.
I'm glad you
Those kind of
qualified
things.
what they do because I was thinking it was a diaper service.
Nope. They're cleaning up a lot of moisture, so kind of along the same lines.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Way to bring it back in. Way to rodeo it. Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
How do people get information if they want to get?
They can contact me directly at MICKI at McKinsey. Excuse me, I'm drawing a blank. Mickey at
Sorry, we've all been
MBAleads. Yeah, there you go. Mickey at MBAleads.com. Or they can call us at our office at 541-484-4304.
All right. Mickey, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for coming in. Next time I'll bring pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the next time we'll hold you to it.
Happy to do it.
8:44.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. And for those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. Hey, that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and an exceptional taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. Enjoy responsibly. 2016 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, 0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Are you tired of being uncomfortable in your home? Pacific Air Comfort, your local Carrier factory authorized dealer, would like to help resolve your problems. Too hot or too cold? Their professional staff will analyze your heating and cooling system problems, listen to your concerns and requests, offering you solutions that will make you Pacific Air comfortable. Turn to Carrier trained professionals. Turn to the experts that will help you claim your eligible utility rebates and tax incentives. Pacific Air Comfort, quality system design, quality Carrier equipment, quality installation, and outstanding 24/7 service and repairs. Visit PacificAirComfort.com. That's PacificAirComfort.com. Or call 541-342-5300. That's 541-342-5300 to receive Pacific Air Comfort's award-winning service today.
.845 News Radio 1120 KPNW with the wake-up call. We are helping the helpers help the helpless. Bill Compton, who's been on the show before with Direct Connect, the Belarus Eugene team, is in studio and talking about what, got some things coming up. Not that
This
far
weekend.
away. Yeah.
This weekend, yes.
So we can help some people go to Belarus and do what? What kinds of things are you doing over there?
Well, first of all, I want to say, gentlemen, thank you for letting me come back on again. It's great.
Our pleasure. And you bring your own sign for the stream. I love that.
There you go.
Actually, you brought a table sign that you can set up here so on the stream you can actually see it.
He gets it.
Very nice.
All right. Yes.
You're on it, Bill.
All right. Thank you very much.
But you're welcome. Thanks for coming back in.
All right. Well, we're excited. We're doing something new this year. The young people that I'm working with here in Eugene, Springfield, that we're going to be going over this year, once again, in August, to mentor and work with teens there in Belarus who are in distress. They come from broken homes, and many of them actually are orphans who are soon to be, transitioned out of the orphanage at 18. And so we want to interface with those young people our young people, interfacing with them to hopefully make a difference in a mentorship kind of relationship.
Okay, when you say that they're transitioned out of these orphanages at 18, you showed me a picture of a woman that works over there. When they're particularly the young women, when they're transitioned out of these orphanages, and I'm parenthetically saying transition, what happens to many of them?
Right. Well, I appreciate that question. It's really a horrible thing that's still going on in some of those former Soviet republics in regards to the orphanage system. What ends up happening, sadly, is that mafia is able to work with orphanage directors, some of them, and because the orphanage directors make very little, mafia is able to pay them to, and I hate to say this, but to keep track of inventory, so that at 18, literally at 18, when they turn 18, they're turned out of the orphanage, and they really haven't had any kind of life skill training. That's something that we do with them. But the lady that I just showed you, Olga Garanchenko, has actually gone in when these girls are 14, 15, and 16 and adopted them out, and basically rescuing them from what would be a certain, relatively certain future in being trafficked. So we are in the business of prevention. So we're actually preventing many young people from being trafficked.
Bill, what kind of numbers are we talking about?
Well, this is and I hate to use the word program because Olga has a heart for these young people. She's been working with orphanages for years, but really didn't know how she could help. But when she learned about how there is a relationship between the sex traffic trade and orphanages, she decided to intervene. And so she's been doing this for about 5 years. And so she has adopted out 25 young people. She rents apartments for these young people. There's 4 young people in an apartment. She provides, obviously, life skills training because they haven't really had it, neither in an institution. And she gets them jobs. She helps them with their schooling. And this young lady that you just showed on the live feed, her name is Svieta. And she just graduated from high school and is now going to the university.
How cool is it? Now, how is she funding all this?
Yeah.
Well, we're a part of that, Direct Connect, and most specifically, thank you for asking that, by the way, the Belarus Eugene team here in town. Our young people are working hard, doing a whole host of different fundraisers, cutting wood and selling firewood. You know that we have a big raffle mid-year. This year they decided they want to do something in the fall called the Pumpkin Spice Bazaar. And so we are hoping this year to be able to garnish $2,000 from the sale of Christmas gift items and things like that to bring Olga and Svieta here so that we can introduce you to Olga and her work, and Svieta specifically. Svieta has a story that will break your heart, and but she has so much excitement about life now. And then what I like to do is people get to know this wonderful, and I hate to use the word program, this wonderful woman and what she's doing to help orphans there to come alongside. And I want to set up a GoFundMe page. So once you meet and greet this woman that's doing amazing work, we can take the program that she is using and we can replicate it, not just in Belarus, but in other countries like Ukraine.
Bill, we talked about this earlier when we've had you on before, but
Yes.
for the people that maybe missed your response, of all the need across the world, what attracts you and connects you to Belarus and the people there?
Thank you for that question. That's a great question. Many, many years ago, when the Iron Curtain was still up, I met a person that would visit every 5 years, and he told me about what was happening on the other side. And I made a commitment as a 17-year-old boy that if I ever had an opportunity to help, I would. Well, the opportunity opened up in 2000. I traveled to Belarus, and from that very first trip, I made a commitment that I was going to help. I was a marketing teacher at the time at Willamette High School, and my young people there and I, when they saw the pictures, made a commitment that we're going to invest in helping the kids there, and we've been doing that ever since.
Okay. I've gotten, no kidding, 3 texts. They all want to know how much for a cord of wood. and how they go about getting it.
Okay, that's excellent. We only have hardwood right now because we've sold all of our fir, and hardwood is $250 delivered, and they can call me on my phone, my cell phone. It's 541-953-2156. And to be honest with you, we've sold a lot of wood this year. We have 2 cords left. So the first 2 folks that want to snag them up, that would be fantastic. So there you go. Thank you for asking.
Well, it's not me. It's
yeah. Well, appreciate being on the air.
So the bazaar coming up.
Yes.
When, where, what, how? What's going on?
Okay. The bazaar is at the old Pleasant Hill Church of Christ building. It's over 100 years old, beautifully in the process of being restored. The inside's restored, so it's beautifully decorated.
Is that the one that you go through as you go eastward, past it, up on the right?
Yeah. As you go through Highway 58, Pleasant Hill, the fire station, and it's that old
raised up a little
church
bit.
building. It almost looks like a castle.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so we're having it there, and it's going to be this coming Saturday, 10 in the morning until 5. And again, there's a multitude of different holiday gifts, handmade, all handcrafted things. And then, of course, if somebody just wants to come out and see what we're doing and talk with me about the programs that we have going on, that would be fantastic.
So, and everything 100% goes to the.
Oh yes,
to
thank
the
you
cause?
for 100% of the profits are going to go. 100% are going to go to helping keep kids from being trafficked.
And if people maybe can't make that event, but they want to, contribute to the cause and send you a check for $50, how do they do that?
That would be fantastic if they could do that. I guess if they're going to send a check, they could mail it to me. I can give that information right now if that's what you'd like.
Oh, go ahead.
If you have a website,
yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, we have a website. It's directconnect.org. And if they can either do a credit card or if they want to send a check. But in doing that, if they want to direct it to the Belarus Eugene Team Fund, that will help us work with the young people there.
And again, the telephone number that he gave out a couple minutes ago, 541-953-2156.
Yes.
Very cool. Anything, what's coming up after the bazaar this weekend?
I think the holidays are coming up, and I'm going to lay low. After that, we're going to be working the boat and sportsman show and 2 other events, and we're going to be raffling off tickets for that AR-15 that one of the local gun stores in town builds for us. And so we'll be raffling off those tickets.
So I guess if somebody out there has a capacity to help you in something like that, you'd be open to it. If they have anything that they can for auction or for anything like that, where they can be if they maybe can't do monetary donation, they could do something through the business.
Sure, absolutely. That would be fantastic. And we're going to do a big ice cream social. Last year, it started very small. Last year, we garnished $4,500 on an ice cream social.
See, ice cream and beer. You can't go
ice
wrong.
cream and beer. There's no beer in this one, but ice cream. So we're taking it to the next level. A young lady by the name of Tab Davis has so graciously said she would help us market that and let people know around Springfield, Eugene, and the southern Willamette Valley to get that done. So we're pretty excited about that.
Tab of which he speaks?
I don't know. Do you know her?
Her name is Tab Davis?
Yes, Tab Davis.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful young lady.
Yeah, we know Tab.
You do? Okay, great.
Beautiful young lady.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then it wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Oh,
yeah, because the one married to JR.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
that one.
Right.
Oh, that's the same one. I
Same
guess.
one. What?
do you know that she actually works here? Did you know that? Okay.
See, he got us. I feel like we've been punked this whole show.
Totally punked on that one. Well played, Bill. Well played.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice acting. That was superior quality.
When are you going again? When's the next trip?
Oh, that's a great question too. We are going to be going in August this year, and in years past we've gone for 2 weeks. This year we're going 3. We've added an additional camp, and this year not only will I be training, life skills training for the Provincia camp that we've talked about before, where young people are brought to the camp who are in dysfunctional families and in distress. We're also establishing a camp of our own. So I'll be the lead on that camp, and then I'm bringing very wonderful Belarusian teachers from the local schools to come in and help me teach life skills with these kids.
Do you document your trips at all? Is there any kind of film that you show afterwards, or photos?
Yes, we have tons of film and tons of photo, and I can make that available. We have some on our Facebook page. But we don't have, if there's somebody out there that would like to be like our Facebook specialist to really get the message out, that would be fantastic.
Be like a social media director.
Yeah, social media person. That would be awesome.
Hey, man, thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah. Well,
I think a lot of people in this community would just give you like a big group hug, because it's amazing, and people think we have things bad here. Go somewhere else, and you'll appreciate what you have here like that.
Yeah, it's really true, and I appreciate your encouragement and support over the years as well. We're in it for the long term, and we really are changing people's lives one heart at a time. So thank you.
Please come back anytime.
Okay, appreciate it, gentlemen.
There's a
Thank
shifting
you.
of the wind. Come in and talk about it.
Okay.
Excellent. Bill Compton again. The telephone number 953-2156, and it's directconnect.org. We have just enough time to say au revoir. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll start the weekend off bright and early tomorrow, 6:05. Don't forget, Stuff the Bus, day one out there, EMU campus. If you can help out, food and toys.
Here's something I'll bet you didn't know. St. Vincent de Paul sells more used appliances than anyone in Lane County. That's because we pick up good used appliances, refurbish them, guarantee them, and sell them at low, low prices. So if you're looking for a good reconditioned appliance, check with us first. We're St. Vincent de Paul, where you can always have some fun, save some money, and do something nice for your neighbors. St. Vincent de Paul. We're in the phone book and online.
This message is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul in association with Ears.
Those ads pushing a yes vote on Measure 97's tax on sales remind me of an old saying.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
That if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh, you mean because the ads promoting 97 try to make people believe putting a tax on sales won't increase consumer costs?
Yeah. 97 would put this huge new $6 billion state tax on sales of food, gas, electricity, medicine, and almost everything else.
And the state of Oregon's own study showed 97's tax would cost a typical family like ours $600 a year.
Right. And the ads pushing 97 also want us to believe the money would go to education.
Yeah, well, we've heard that one before, huh?
Yes, we have. And the truth is, since 97 is not a constitutional amendment, the politicians could just spend the money however they want, as usual.
Well, that's another good reason to vote no on Measure 97's $6 billion tax on sales.
Agreed. No on 97.
Paid for by Defeat the Tax on Oregon Sales.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW Eugene.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady.
Florida, we got 5 more days.
President Obama rallying for Hillary Clinton for a second day, this time in Miami, warning that Donald Trump's controversial remarks about women, Muslims, and others aren't just words.
Then that is what you will do in office, except you will have more power to carry out the twisted notions that you had before you were in office.
Also urging voters again not to get discouraged by noise and distractions. This as more than one FBI investigation is underway into Hillary Clinton's activities. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, Fox News has learned that for more than a year, the FBI has been looking into possible pay-to-play interactions between the former Secretary of State and the Clinton Foundation. Also, sources say foreign intelligence services may have hacked into Clinton's private server as many as 5 times. Meanwhile, FBI agents are poring through the laptop of Anthony Weiner, the estranged husband of Clinton aide Huma Abedin, and some of the emails from Clinton's private server on that computer appear to be new to them, not duplicates. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. Donald Trump, meantime, about to hold a rally in Florida. Then he and Hillary Clinton will both campaign in North Carolina, where the latest Real Clear Politics average shows a dead heat. 2 U.S. troops killed in Afghanistan, 4 others injured.
The American Special Operations Forces came under fire alongside Afghan troops while fighting the Taliban. The incident took place in Kunduz province, a volatile region in northern Afghanistan. Local reports say at least 22 Afghans were also killed. At least 5 Americans have been killed in combat in Afghanistan since early October.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. The U.S. combat mission in Afghanistan ended 2 years ago. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-719-2090. That's 800-719-2090. Don't wait. Call 800-719-2090.
Want to invest but don't know what to do? In search of fixed double-digit rates immune to currency, real estate, and stocks? Discover the alternative asset Barron's Magazine describes as lucrative and safe. An investment immune to Fed manipulation and low interest rates. Request a prospectus guide. Call Cornerstone at 800-222-INFO. 800-222-INFO. That's 800-222-INFO.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Deb Carson.